gave it a score of 4.5, and believe it or not, the creator of the Walking Dead comics, Robert Kirkman, has pretty blatantly expressed his disliking towards this game. I was a bit taken aback. I recall playing this game in my youth, and I could have sworn it was not as bad as people are saying it is. I did not want to formulate my opinions based solely off of other people's input. I needed to play the game again to make sure it was really this bad. So I opened up Steam, searched in the game, and oh, no items match your query. Well, this is odd. It should be known that Survival Instinct was available on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PC, and the Wii U. Now in 2013, this game would have been easy to get, play, and review. But in 2025, that's just not the case. This game is not backwards compatible. You'd be forced to play it on the console it was assigned to. So I thought, well, shit, guess I'll play it digitally. But apparently, this game got delisted from all digital app stores back in 2016. I just talked about this with Friday the 13th, the game. But unlike that game, I could not find a public statement for why this one had been delisted. People assume it must have been a mix of the horrible reception, Activision's expired licensing rights for The Walking Dead, or it very well could have had something to do with how Terminal Reality, the company that, I don't know, developed this game, stopped existing as a corporate entity the same year this game was released.
I have so much shit open.
Would be an understatement. So the only way to play this game digitally is if you find someone on Steam that has it in their library and you beg them to family share the game to you, or you can go online and try to find somebody selling the Steam key for the game. That is, if you feel like spending $200, 10% off. Oh, today's my lucky day. Taking that into account, this game is kind of rare, as are most games with expired IP rights. Mortal Kombat 9, such a good game. Fucking Freddy Krueger, you piece of shit. Despite how good or bad the game I'm about to play might be, it still has some purpose to the backstory of one of the show's most popular characters, Daryl Dixon. A character that does not even exist in the original Walking Dead comics. The fact that he even has his own video game is pretty wild. What's even more wild is this game is widely considered to be a canonical entry that is a valid prequel to the Walking Dead television series. That just gives me one extra reason to cover it. Now this video is gonna be very long. You know the drill, big plot summary followed by my thoughts. It's just the way I do things. So go ahead and lean back. Actually, before you lean back, hit the subscribe button. We're very close to 100K. Now go ahead and lean back, relax, and let me introduce to you the Walking Dead game everybody hates. The Walking Dead Survival Instinct.
It had to be walking this way. You see it? Dixon, it comes at me. You watch where you shoot that thing, okay?
The game begins with us playing as a character only referred to
I would
as
just leave it like this,
You're
and it
currently
stays.
hunting in the woods with two other people, Jess and a man named Buck. A very southern name. Jess and Buck are tracking closely behind a deer they've shot, having to rely on the trail of blood it left behind to figure out where it went. Walking through the clearing, Jess notices some of the blood on the rocks.
I think I see some blood. Is there blood always this black?
They think the blood could have came from the deer, but the color of it seems off, almost too dark. Going through the trees at the end of the trail leads you to Buck, who tells you to crouch down to keep quiet and not spook the deer up ahead. Sneaking our way up the trail, we eventually find the deer in a small clearing. A small blotch of blood around its neck confirms it's the one they shot earlier. Right as you raise your rifle to shoot it, you hear Rushing back to see what has happened, in the literal 20 seconds you were away, you find out your friend Buck is being eaten by two walkers. And due to Buck firing his rifle several times before going down, a horde of the undead emerges from the woods. You try your best to fight him off, but soon enough, you run out of ammo, and you are very quickly overwhelmed.
What in the hell, Dixon?
Jess, unable to take his eyes away from the horrific aftermath,
Yeah, not me
gets
to close
bit
that.
on his right arm. Up until this point, I've been pretty vague as to who we've been playing as this whole time. You'd assume it would be Daryl or Merle, considering this character is referred to as Dixon, which is their surname. But whenever Jess calls Daryl over and he looks down at us, it's revealed who we were playing as.
Dad? Oh, Dad, no! We could...
Daryl, he's too busted up. Nothing can be done now except ease his suffering.
Alright. Time to do some doodly doodlies.
Sorry, brother.
We were playing as Will Dixon, the father of Daryl and Merle, and the half-brother to Jess. Not too much is disclosed about him in this game, but just from watching the show, you can immediately tell Will was not the greatest father figure, his actions being the reason Daryl, to this day, has belt scars all across his back. Interestingly enough, despite Daryl's father being an abusive piece of shit, he still could not bring himself to put his own father down. The relationship between them two must have been extremely complicated. Although
away.
Will's death was not entirely in vain. Jess and Daryl, the only survivors of the hunting trip, learned two things from this. Taking down the undead can only be done with head trauma, and that silence is what's gonna help them survive. The main reason Will died was because of how much noise was made. In order to not meet the same
Okay, he really
fate,
does have a
we,
flat
the
face.
player, must utilize sneaking to ensure our survival. Sometimes. After this point, the game introduces us to both melee attacks to better ensure being quiet, and restorative items, such as sports drinks and MREs that can be found in every location. If you start running low on stamina, one swig of the sports drink will refill it all the way up, and also heals you a little bit, while MRE just heals you a bit more. Taking a look around the cabin, you can tell that it is far from luxurious. It becomes very apparent whenever you see a lawn chair indoors. Leaving your room, Jess wants to discuss a plan. While talking, he indirectly states that this is their first time encounter with the undead.
Have you ever seen anything like that? If you told me about it, I'd call you a liar.
That just adds to the weight of that situation. That is horrifying. Daryl is clearly still pissed about his dad's death and wants to head out there and kill every last one of the walkers. Jess, being Will's half-brother, he's obviously upset too, but he tells Daryl it's much more simple to just gather up as many supplies as they can and leave. Daryl is tasked with collecting 3 cans of fuel for the trip ahead and meeting Jess back at his truck. Sounds simple enough. You're also given this hammer and this little collectible squirrel statue. A bunch of walkers are heard trying to get in through the front door, so you're forced to exit out the back door. Getting outside, Daryl spots an unsuspecting walker. The game tells us that we can perform an execution, which can be done by pressing whatever button you hotkeyed it to while right up behind a walker. This is what it looks like whenever you succeed. Down. And this is what it looks like whenever you fuck it up several times. This way of dealing with them is silent and brings no attention to you at all. The only downside being that you have to be right up on a walker for it to work. Getting introduced to the other combat of this game is nothing special. You slice or bash in the head of a walker until they collapse. If you hold the melee swing for longer, the hit is heavier, but it takes longer to deploy. If you miss that heavy swing, you're gonna be in trouble. And occasionally, you can shoot whatever firearm you pick up if you want a faster result. You just have to hit headshots. If you hit him in the body, that's not going to do anything. The drawback, of course, being that you're going to draw as much attention to you as possible. There's a couple more things about combat that get revealed later on, but as of right now, the whole swinging and shooting, it's pretty simple. After collecting 2 fuel cans and going towards the third one, the game shows you a way of distracting walkers using glass bottles or flares. It's a cool idea, but I'm letting you know right now, this is the only time in the game I use that mechanic.
Hello, meme guy. Hi,
fuel can and make a
hello.
mad dash back to the truck. You safely get inside and begin your journey down the road. Once we get in the truck, we are introduced to the travel map. Each time you finish a mission, you're given the option to select both a road type and sometimes even a destination. More on that later. You're given the option of highways, which use little fuel, but your car has a higher chance of breaking down and needing a repair, and a very low chance of stopping for supplies. While back roads use up more fuel, but you have a lesser chance of breaking down, and you stop more often for supplies along the way. Taking the streets is a happy medium of the both. The destination is named Sedalia,
Hello, my
a little
baby.
area
How'd
where
you
hunters
sleep?
would usually gather up on supplies before heading into the mountains. During the drive there, Daryl and Jess talk about many different things, namely going to find Daryl's brother, Merle.
We gotta go get Merle.
Merle, he's just not right.
What you say to me, old man? Merle's 10 times the man you are.
All right. Just seems you boys turn hay into shit when you're together.
Arriving in Sedalia,
Yo,
you're introduced
baby!
to the travel hub. Before each
Oi!
mission, you have two things you can do beforehand. Either load up anything you don't need into your vehicle for storage, or give any survivors in your party something to scavenge for, such as ammo, food, or fuel, alongside giving them a weapon to help. If the survivors return from the scavenge and are injured, you can use available MREs to heal them up, at the cost of sparing your own healing supplies. To best manage your survivors, there is a stat bar at the bottom which tells you how risky each scavenge is. Looking at Sedalia, it seems to be in complete disaster. Jess and Daryl were gonna stop here for more fuel anyways, but it looks like that might not even be an option. He tells you if there's any left, it will be at Lucky's, the gas station across the way. You make your way past the streets, through a pharmacy with its power cut, and make your way into a fenced-off section behind the store. Just as you're about to move on,
Alright.
you hear a voice call out from the rooftop. Climbing the ladder, you meet Jimmy Blake, who besides a deputy who has locked himself in a cellar across town, is the last surviving police officer in Sedalia.
That's not
the
what I
only
wanted
other
to
person
do.
he knows for sure is alive is a man in the gas station across the street. Blake needs new batteries for his radio, and says if we find some, he will be on the lookout for any walkers and snipe them. Seems like a fair deal. Heading back down, I found a room that had a lead pipe and another squirrel collectible. This pipe kills walkers in 2 hits. It's quite nice. As you make your
You
way
done,
to the
baby?
gas station across the
You done
street,
doing
you're
whatever?
suddenly introduced to the most
Oi!
infamous
Whoa!
mechanic about this game. The grapple. If you get too close to a walker, they can
Hello,
one-shot you
Daniel.
and put you in this QTE, where you have to drag your cursor to their head and stab them. All the while, your screen is shaking and being thrown off target. However, the controversial aspect of this mechanic is that it can stack. Whenever you're done grappling with one walker, another one will pick up where the last one left off. You can already imagine if you get caught in a horde, this will be a big issue. But there is one thing about this mechanic people who hate it seem to miss. More on this after the base level plot summary of the game. You go to Lucky Les's gas station and find Warren, the nephew of the owner, Lucky Lester. He tells you he can get fuel for your car as long as you bring him with you and find the generator cage keys. He tells you Lester and his father went to search the trailer park across the way, and last he saw, Lester had the keys on him. So now it's our goal to find the keys, get the generators running, and have Warren punch in the code for the pump and fill up a fuel canister for our truck. Before doing that, I took a look inside the police station beside the trailer park, and Christ, all of the people in the holding cells are undead. And the only sign of there being cops here is a revolver on the desk. I searched through the whole police station, found a rifle, and the batteries for Blake. And then I ran into that cowardly deputy who locked himself in a cell. This guy still believes that he is guarding his post, as he tries to keep his weapons cache secure until a sheriff named Turner from Pemberton comes to relieve him. Although he makes an interesting proposition. If we give him some food, he'll give us some ammo from the cache. If you go back to the store where we got grappled by that walker, there is a small food container hidden in the corner. Running back and giving the food to the deputy, we get a hilarious interaction.
Here you go, son. What do you say we keep this transaction just between us?
Oh,
sure you ain't
my
coming
little
with?
baby.
Oh, hell no. This is my post. Where am I gonna be safer?
Man, you don't have the key, do you?
Go on now, get me to my duty.
What happens when you get hungry again?
You fucking moron. Leaving him behind, we go to the trailer park where Warren said his uncle would be, and we start decimating the walker population. You eventually find Lucky Lester, but it seems walkers found him before you could. You take him out and grab the generator keys from him. I make my way back to Warren, tell him I got the keys, and Daryl tells him in the most fucked up way that his dad and uncle are dead.
Are my dad and Uncle Lester behind you?
Just get the pumps on, okay, Warren?
Afterwards, you unlock the cage, kick on the generator, and hear Blake shouting from above.
Hey! You got it running!
It was here I realized that even though I grabbed those batteries for Jimmy Blake, I forgot to actually give them to him. So whenever walkers started spilling out onto the street, he was not covering me. Regardless, I had to fill up a fuel canister while making sure none of the walkers got the jump on me. You finish filling it up and a small crowd forms in the street. I almost got messed up here, but thankfully I fought out of it. Shortly afterwards, I was forced up a ladder and had to be on top of a tanker truck. And looking down, you can just see a ton of walkers reaching up trying to get you. As you look up, you see Jess signaling for you to run over to the truck. So, in one swift motion, you hop off the tanker and once again make a mad dash back to the truck before the mission ends.
And start the damn truck!
Whenever the mission finishes, a new screen pops up titled the camp screen. Here, I will have to manage whether I find a new vehicle, survivors, or sift through storage if there's too much in the car. With Warren now in our group, we can see his stats. Warren is stealthy, prefers blunt weapons, but is weak, so his health is a bit lower. This time on the travel map, you can choose the destination. Your choices are Garwater, which is described as a section of ranger and fire stations that promised security and protection, or Pemberton, where the sheriff that the deputy mentioned earlier operated things as a bunch of survivors flocked there. But unfortunately, that also caused a bunch of walkers to go there as well. I thought, screw it, let's be dangerous. Like mentioned before getting to Sedalia, Daryl's goal here is to get to Fontana and find his brother Merle. But as you're making your way over there, the truck begins to break down. Now, for the time being, the goal has switched to finding a new car. Daryl and Jess talk about finding some new wheels, and it's very obvious Jess is starting to look and feel a lot worse than he did earlier in the day. You already know how this is gonna go down, but the catch is, Daryl doesn't. Jess blatantly lies and says he's doing fine, like every old guy does for some fucking reason, and just says he's tired after a long day. Right as Daryl turns around to begin the mission, the first thing he says is,
Jess, where'd you go?
He completely lost track of where Jess had gone. You enter the largely abandoned police station in hopes of finding somebody, and eventually you hear a voice in the distance. You go to investigate and you find a lone sheriff still operating things. Sheriff John Turner. For days, he's been trying to direct orders and save his officers, but alas, most of them have either died or came back from the dead. He does initially lie to Daryl and tell him whoever was left
You
would
done,
go
baby?
and look
You
for
wanna
his
come back
Uncle
up?
Jess.
Looking for my Uncle Jess and working blind. Give me the description, I'll have
Whoa!
Don't blow smoke up my ass. You ain't gonna look for him. Son, I'm trying to keep what's left of an entire county alive. I can't leave here.
But does come around to striking up a deal with Daryl, saying that if he goes and checks the motel across the bridge and finds the deputies that he sent over there, they'll help Daryl find Jess, and Turner will give you one of his police cruisers. That being a pretty solid deal, Daryl tunes his radio to Turner's station and makes his way to the motel. Turner gets on the radio and tells you the only spot Jess could have gone is the motel across the way. As you make your way across the bridge and see the ever-forming crowd in the road, you kinda get the suspicion that the deputies didn't make it. Your suspicion is confirmed whenever you walk into one of the motel rooms and find the deputy Turner sent here. More importantly, his shotgun. A crawling zombie then
Your
bursts
art
out
is
of a
neat.
vent, but
Thank
it's
you,
pretty trivial
Verge.
to take him down. You keep searching around the motel trying to find Jess, but he's nowhere to be seen. With no other options, you head back to the police station, taking down some more walkers along the way, and break the news news to Turner. He's devastated, but you can tell it's starting to have less of an effect on him, likely due to how often it's been happening the past few days. Although you did not find his deputies, he still held up his end of the deal, giving you the keys to one of the police cars. While doing this, he lets you know of a location called Palmetto Estates, that area being used by the military to evacuate citizens. He tells us he sent his daughter there and that it's in our best interest to go there too. As you're heading back to the entrance of the station, going to claim your new ride, you spot Jess.
Uncle Jess, where the hell you been, you old coot?
But it turns out Jess finally succumbed to the bite. A now reanimated Jess lunges at Daryl, and Daryl has to resort to stabbing his half-uncle right in the head. In the span of one day, Daryl has lost both his father and his half-uncle. He already learned a good bit of things from his father's passing, but now, with Jess gone, he learns one new thing. Getting bit will cause you to turn into one of them. The only piece of family he has left
How
is
you
his
doing,
brother,
baby?
Merle. And with his
How about
new
we
ride,
go
that's exactly who he's going to
any
find.
other
The new
way?
vehicle we got
It's
can hold
impressive the
more
number
survivors
of
at the
monster you
cost of having
did. You must
higher
have a lot
fuel
of hours in
consumption and having
studying.
a few less slots for
Years.
inventory storage.
Years.
These stats vary widely
In
for what
actually
model of car you
drawing
find on your
monsters,
trip.
basically.
Daryl heads down the road to
Takes a lot of
place called
practice, but in the
Fontana,
end, it's
another
worth it
place
'cause
trying to
you know, you get a
barricade
job
to
whatever
stop
you
the
want.
walkers, but eventually becomes overrun. Upon arriving, it is immediately apparent that somebody is
Actually,
camping out, shooting at random stuff in the road. All this noise draws in this giant crowd of walkers in the streets. Though it does look a bit pessimistic, Daryl tries to still find his brother in Fontana. How does he know Merle's in Fontana? Well, before the outbreak, Merle was arrested and held here. So Daryl's taking a bit of a gamble, just assuming that his brother hasn't moved on. You make your way into a small diner across the way. While inside, you hear the voices of survivors. Not only that, but also 8 walkers. Since we're in a closed area, I thought, why not test out some of the firearms? Pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie. You go further into the kitchen area and find 2 people. One named Noah, and the other one goes by Scout, but her real name is Anna Turner, the sheriff's daughter.
Thanks. From both of us.
He bit?
Gunshot. Some crazy asshole is sniping at us. And car alarms. I dragged Noah in here. They followed.
Who's us? You two?
Got a whole team out there. Or did. We scavenged supplies for the local survivor camps.
There's survivor camps?
Yeah. The military supplies some of them with weapons, meds. There's a big one at Cherokee Hills Sawmill. We were doing pretty well until that psycho sniper
Always
showed
been
up and
curious
brought a whole mob
when
of
I see
fighters
her, I'm
down on
thinking,
top
damn,
of
this
us.
person must
We got
master
split up.
composition easily.
Down.
No.
Killed. I need to get my people together. One of my runners, Mia, is holed up in the theater across the street. Help her out and I'll make it worth your while.
I'm not
Trade
a
you one of those.
master.
Lots of goodies in there, hillbilly.
You make your way over to the theater, narrowly avoiding the horde in the street, and search around for Mia. You eventually hear her in the distance just pleading for you not to shoot her. You run upstairs after her and meet her formally. Well, not really formally.
Get away from me, you asshole!
I ain't the asshole you're worried about.
Who are you then?
I'm a different one.
Say what you will about the game, the dialogue is pretty funny sometimes. You confirm to her that you are not the sniper whenever you both hear another shot outside. You tell Mia Scout sent you, and she tells you she thought that they had died because the shooter apparently fires at anything that moves, including survivors. Afterwards, she tells you that the theater below is where whoever was barricading this place was loading corpses. Great. And the exit is blocked, so you have to clear the path down below to actually get out of here. I did that real quick, utilizing guns in a closed environment before clearing out the way and heading back to Scout and Noah. Although, whenever I entered the diner and back into the kitchen area, they're gone.
Ugh, you cheating, manipulative little bitch.
Daryl's clearly upset. Scout leaves a note explaining that Noah's injury had gotten worse to where they needed to find medical supplies, so they made a break for a hospital down the road. And unfortunately for Daryl, the survivor survivor camps needed the supplies more than Daryl did. Although she did leave car keys for an even newer ride, but Daryl is still pissed about being essentially lied to for saving Mia. I headed into the meat locker and found one of the best melee weapons in the game, the machete. Take a look at this.
Shit there.
That's awesome, dude. You make your way to the station that has holding cells and you try to find your brother. But you quickly realize one of two things. Merle is nowhere to be seen in his cell. And two, that sniper is camping out on the rooftop to this very building. Daryl starts to put two and two together as he makes his way up to the rooftop, and just then...
Oh no! Sneaking up, are we? No, no, no! You're never gonna take me back there!
Oh, come on, Merle. It's me. Merle.
Maybe a stupid question, but if you want to learn Beefy macro, you must learn micro SWAT too.
That's what you're doing!
Damn it, Merle. I'm just gonna leave
Yeah.
Keep your pants on,
You
sweetheart.
gotta learn
I like
like
to
a
play
lot of
golf
anatomy, certain angles, which I'm still learning.
Them people locked me up for days in the dark with all them abominations. But looky who's just a little bit too smart for 'em.
Merle is doing the exact same thing that he does when we first see him in the Walking Dead show. Except this time, Merle is a drunken mess, under the assumption that the scavengers in the street are soldiers or cops coming to take him back into his cell. Like that's the most important thing going on right now. So he's the main reason that Scout's group got torn apart. He's been up there for so long that he is both sunburnt and running a very high fever. He then points at Daryl and says that he's going to a place called Jake's, and that's where Daryl's gonna take him. And without even asking why, Daryl agrees to do so. Once you retrieve Merle, the mission ends.
Let's go, you ape. Guess I gotta lug your thick ass back across town. Man, you must be running over 106.
My chair!
Yeah, it'll be here when you come back.
Mia joins your party, and you're once again given the option to pick where you want to go. You can either go to one of the survivor camps mentioned by Scout, or the hospital that Scout and Noah went to. The goal here is to find medicine for Merle. Due to his extreme prolonged sun exposure, he's actually getting more symptoms than just a sunburn. Under that assumption, I chose to go to the hospital. It also seems that this hospital was getting military assistance whenever it was operational, so there could be some good supplies there. On the way to the hospital, we encounter one of the instances where we absolutely have to stop the car. The journey between your destinations can be broken up by many different things. Anything from optionally scavenging for supplies, moving cars out of the road to clear you a path, as opposed to taking a detour which would use more fuel, and the instance where you have to stop whenever your car has internal problems. In my instance, the battery on our new car just died, although a plethora of other things can happen to your car, like you needing coolant, running out of fuel, needing a new radiator hose. Pretty sure your tires can get fucked up too, but essentially the only way you can fix this is by going into this big scavenge map and finding the thing you need to replace. Taking the highways is the worst case scenario if you want to avoid breaking down, and that's the road type I've been using the most in this playthrough. But after solving that, on the drive there, Daryl breaks the news of what happened to both Jess and their dad.
Merle, man, I gotta tell you something. Something happened, bro.
I got it. Full bore, flesh-eating apocalypse.
Yeah, but we were up at Jess's camp house when the eaters came down on us. We never heard anything about them. They tore us up. Jess and me, we were the only ones to get out.
Where's the old man?
He was up at the camp house too. He didn't make it, bro.
He's dead? The old man's dead? You let the abominations get him? Did he turn into one? Did you let that happen too?
No, we gave him mercy.
What'd he say? What did he say?
He said, tell Merle I'm proud of him. Merle?
What'd he really say?
I do appreciate how complex their feelings are about their horribly abusive father now being out of the picture. Merle doesn't know how to react except with anger and, dare I say, confusion. These two characters are very complex, and I'm glad to see more people noticing that over the years. They arrive at the hospital, and Merle starts immediately labeling off some medicine that he thinks he needs. Upon walking inside, I realize maybe this was the wrong location to pick. This is creepy as hell. Walking down the hall to your left, you hear a voice, and upon approaching, you recognize Noah. He seems a lot more energetic and active than the last time we saw him. He tells you that he and Scout split up as she went to the morgue to find medical supplies. Mind you, a morgue is a horrible place to be when the dead begin walking. Noah warns us about some military personnel still remaining in the hospital. You ask Noah for some antibiotics, but he doesn't have any on him, so we've just got to keep looking around. As we continue our way through the hospital, you cannot help but feel it is disturbingly quiet. The only thing that breaks this silence is Daryl and Merle talking on the radio.
Some light'd be nice.
What do you see?
What do you think I see? It's a fucking hospital.
But even then, usually by now you'd have ran into a walker. As you check off the bodies, there is zero sign of life anywhere. Dead patients and nurses are strewn all across the floor of this place, and the only real sounds you hear as you walk further into this place is an electrical hum and the sound of your own footsteps. All of this eeriness comes to a head whenever you enter one of the patient rooms and see somebody laying dead on an examination table. Except this person does not look like a walker. In fact, it looks like they just recently passed away. Right next to them, you see a bunch of files on a desk. They're not just normal patient files. They almost look like experimentation notes. It becomes painfully clear that something very odd is happening in this place. You eventually start seeing a few more walkers as you get closer to the cafeteria. Entering said cafeteria, Merle says,
Where can you get a poke and a smoke around here?
Damn it, Merle, you're gonna get me killed.
Causing a ton of walkers to get up and start rushing you. I took a few hits here, but thankfully the machete is busted. Moving past the cafeteria, Daryl changes the channel on his radio so Merle can shut up and not almost get him killed. Daryl coincidentally ends up on the hospital's radio channel.
What the hell are you doing?
Changing the channel, you monkey.
Candace, just wait. Candace, it isn't a function of the central nervous system, but of the peripheral. Do you have samples? A working serum? That's why I stayed. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. You don't have it. I will. Lieutenant Groves is searching with his men as we speak.
Super cool detail here is that one of the voices in this exchange is Edwin Jenner's wife, Candace Jenner. To this day, I still wish that she had some screen time in the show. Well, other than that, of course. Basically, Candace is asking if there's any working serums or samples, and the other voice heavily implies that they're going to search the hospital for any survivors and forcefully run experiments on them, in hopes of finding a cure or serum to the virus, which explains the fate of that woman on the examination table. You keep progressing further into the hospital until you're interrupted by the sound of possibly hundreds of walkers banging down on one of the double doors in the hallway. You slowly walk past it, but right as you're about to make enough distance, that bitch breaks wide open. Right when this happens, you can hear military personnel on your radio say that they've spotted a woman, most likely Scout. As you're running away from the forming horde, you notice that the hospital looks rough, almost like the hall was set
this
on
is
fire
Zavik. I've been wanting to
when
draw him for like a while now, but you know, job, commissions, that have been in the way. So yeah, it's Zavik
and wakes up in a
with the
random
little
room,
tiny
and thus the horde following him instead
with the little tiny
redirected
Raptor
their
right there,
attention
nice
to
and
the
snuggly.
soldiers remaining in the hospital. As you can hear someone on the radio saying they've encountered the infected. Shortly after, Daryl tells Merle that the person who was on the radio maybe can help them. Their goal is to find medicine after all, and if anyone's gonna know where they store it, it's most likely the people who operated this place before it all went to shit. You open the door to the main plaza, and I was met with a very difficult choice. The entrance to the hospital has black paint on it saying, "Don't open, dead." Nice reference to the show, but the issue is the door is being held shut with a fire axe. That is the only thing keeping that door from swinging inwards. One part of me says that I should...
Oh, yeah.
Relax, it's worth it. Watch this. Eventually, you stumble upon where Noah said Scout was heading, the morgue. And upon entering, oh my god, there is zero way I could take them all down alone. So, I chose to sneak past. But regardless of that, by the time I cleared the room and got to the end of the hallway, a giant horde was waiting for me on the right turn. You quickly turn left and dash to the stairwell and just barely make it there in time before shutting the door behind you. You run up the stairs, walk down a long hallway, and make your way into a room where you meet that doctor you heard on the radio earlier. And it turns out, after searching the hospital, she did eventually find somebody to get a sample out of.
What in the hell?
These are desperate times. You need meds and I need a very fresh sample.
You're given a split choice decision, like it's a Telltale game. You can either take the medication Merle needs from the doctor, or save Noah from being experimented on. Obviously, I saved Noah. I ran up to the room he was trapped in and cleared out all of the walkers that were about to get him.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo! I owe you, dude. Big time. I gotta go find Scout.
You do that. Where's that bitch doctor?
She ran off while you were fighting.
She knew what was good for her then.
Hey, I found these before they caught me. It's not much.
That might work.
I think Noah gave us some medicine to help Merle, but I'm not sure. It's never brought up. So our last goal here is to leave this place. Stepping out of this room and going towards an exit, walkers are damn near making a blockade in the hallway, so I shoved past them, gunned down a few of them, and safely made it back to the car. With that out of the way, our next stop is that biker club Merle was talking about earlier, Jake's. But on the way there, a small issue arises down the road. There's this area called Lemon Hill. This place was holding a summer festival on the day of the outbreak. The festival was going to feature a fireworks show, so a ton of people showed up. But when the virus eventually reached this place, not only did the crowd draw more walkers in, but they also heavily added to the population of them too. This new giant herd of them looks like they're heading towards that biker club Merle wants to go to. So the two stop at Lemon Hill, hoping to cause a big enough distraction to deter this new horde from approaching the clubhouse. The game reiterates just how dangerous this area is. If you try to send out a group of survivors on this mission, it is a death sentence. The pure abundance of the walkers is just too much for them to handle, so it's best if you just leave them at the car.
I'll head left and circle back. You go right and then meet me in the middle.
So what are we looking for?
Anything that'll stop that parade of debtors reaching the bar.
Sneaking in this level is damn near obligatory. Even with your current weapons, the horde here could easily overpower you. As you quietly make your way into the gas station, Merle finds out the fact I told you earlier, that this place was prepped for a fireworks
OMG,
show. Daryl's idea is
yes,
to take a bunch
Koji
of
is
bundles
Zavik.
of fireworks, stuff them in the church across the town, and then
Bang goes the dynamite.
Drawing enough attention away from the road and instead to that building. So that is your goal for this mission. Searching around the alleyways and rooftops for a few bundles of fireworks to stuff inside of the church. While doing this, you find another new car, but you still need to locate the keys for it. You end up quickly finding a few bundles of fireworks with ease as Merle and Daryl have a few conversations on the radio.
You'll do.
Daryl, you think these walkers feel pain?
I hope they do.
You know I got your back. Hell, I'm the only man you could ever count on.
Yeah, I know.
You finish up finding the rest of the fireworks and luckily find the keys to that car. Unfortunately for you, to get to the church, you must make your way through a cemetery, which, just like the morgue, probably bottom 10 places you want to be in a zombie apocalypse. You make your way into the church and place all the fireworks in spots you knew would carry the flame nicely. But before actually setting it off, you need to draw attention. So you find your way to a ladder leading to the church bell. After pulling the rope and ringing it it 3 times to draw in as many walkers as possible, you toss a flare into the room below, igniting all of the fireworks. You quickly escape down a ladder out back, backtrack through the cemetery, and are just in time to see what Merle was planning for his distraction.
Fire in the hole, time, girl!
It's not a competition, but I'm pretty sure his won. You make your way back to the car and the mission ends. Nice and short, unlike that fucking hospital. I take a look at the new car we found in this mission, and it just seems to be a direct downgrade from what we currently have. It has medium consumption and the same stats in everything else, so I just stuck with our current car. With that out of the way, we can finally make our way to the biker bar.
Yes, sir. I've been looking forward to this every day for the last month.
Yeah? So what's the surprise, Merle?
What? Right. Wouldn't be a surprise now if I told you, right?
It's gonna be nothing about to pull over.
All right, all right. Just trying to do something nice is all.
All right, I'm pulling over.
I kept something of yours. It's back at the bar with my hog.
What for?
Same reason I kept this wristband that Mama gave me, I suppose.
Whenever we arrive at the bar's location, Merle does something weird. Right as we begin the mission, Merle turns to Daryl and says,
"Stay here."
What?
In a rare instance for Season 1 Daryl, he goes against Merle's word. As Daryl approaches Jake's bar, he notices bikes out front, confirming that at least some of this club is still here. But as you get closer to the entrance, you hear gunshots coming from inside.
Merle! What the hell? Don't kill me, brother.
I ain't your brother.
It wasn't my idea to sell you out, I swear it.
Oh, I believe you, Ash. You're too damn chicken shit to cross me.
It's revealed to us that Merle was initially the leader of the Savage Sons Motorcycle Club, but before the outbreak, somebody in his group ratted him out to the cops for his drug-related activities. It's never explained why, but I assume Merle came here looking for an answer, and when he did not get one, his goal switched to killing everybody, taking back his stash, and then stealing all of their equipment. Daryl is understandably pissed, realizing that the only reason he had driven this far was for some petty revenge plot, that as it stands does not really matter considering the world has gone to shit. But Merle, in response, gestures over to a crossbow on a man he had shot earlier.
Don't be that way. Look, I kept that crossbow of yours.
Man, you just don't get it, do you?
Uh-oh. Hey! Merle's here! Come on, grab all the shit. We gotta get to Merle before he can ride.
You wake up shortly after and realize that those 2 men stole every single one of your items, even the knife you start out with. Everything is gone. As you hear walkers begin banging on the entrance doors, you need to find a weapon quickly. You, luckily enough, locate a new knife, when suddenly the biker that had the crossbow on his back reanimates and gets the jump on you. After you deal with him, you are given the greatest weapon in the game, the crossbow. Not only do you have a silent firearm, but as long as you pick up the crossbow bolts after they are fired, you've pretty much got unlimited ammo. I can see why the man himself used it for so long in the show. You make your way through the walkers that break into the bar and follow the sound of more gunshots in the distance in hopes of finding Merle. As you get closer to the source of the gunfire, you hear it go from what initially sounded like a standoff to now frantic shooting accompanied by cries of agony. By the time you make it there, your suspicions are confirmed as you see all of the bikers, including the ones who robbed you, being eaten by the undead. Shortly after dealing with those walkers, you thankfully come across all of your supplies. But right as you go to pick them up, a bunch of walkers from 3 different directions run out and group up around the bikers' corpses. You You try looking around a bit more to find Merle, but instead you're met with a familiar face in need of assistance. Anna Turner, or Scout. She is on top of a delivery truck with 5 walkers reaching up to get her. You gun them all down, and Daryl has a one-sided, stern conversation with Scout about not giving him those supplies back at the diner.
Saved your ass at the diner? Do I look like your bitch?
Not in that outfit.
What? Oh, hell no.
Oh, come on. I was only teasing.
Hey, where's that bag you promised me at the diner?
We haven't even gone on a date.
Got too much dip on your chip.
Give a girl a ride and we'll talk.
Let's go, before I change my mind.
Merle was nowhere to be found in Barksdale, so Daryl had to move on and hopefully find him somewhere down the road. Considering that stunt he pulled, Daryl probably feels a little bit less guilty driving off having not found him yet. You're once again given 2 options of where to go. Archer Creek, which is not only a really cool name, but is also a confederacy of survivors located at a dam facility. Or Lafferty, a mall where when the outbreak first occurred, vaccinations were offered there. But as soon as more walkers showed up, it was a lost cause. I'm still gonna pick the more dangerous option. On the drive there, Anna formally introduces herself and explains to Daryl why she left the diner. It's pretty much a rephrasing of that note she left for Daryl. She then goes on to mention her father, that sheriff we met. She tells you that she did promise her dad to get to that evacuation site at Palmetto Estates, whereas John told her that he was gonna be getting together some of his deputies and would meet her along the way. But if you remember, John didn't exactly have any deputies left. They all died. We confirmed that for him. Yet for some reason, Daryl says,
"That's the best plan I heard all week."
Yeah, unfortunately, it does not matter which path
Hello,
you
Derry.
take, Daryl just does not speak up about things like this. He never once mentions to
Sorry
Scout
for the
that
late
he
reply.
had
It was literally
initially met
hyper-focused
her
on the
father.
picture.
And I would have liked if the dialogue changed since we took the path to actually meet him, but whatever. You arrive at Lafferty and can immediately tell
Oi.
people tried really hard to secure this place. In fact, in the distance, you can still hear that some of the military is active. The gate to the mall is blocked off, so you have to do this really weird puzzle where you push this car and then jump on the car and then jump on the boxes to hop over the fence. Once you make your way over, you see some military vehicles driving along the highway. You make your way into the mall and coincidentally meet up with none other than Noah.
I'm Noah, remember? I lost Scout at the hospital. Was hoping to catch up to her here.
Yeah, she's just outside.
Wow, really? You 2 running together?
For the time being, looks like.
Can't help but feel
Is
like
that
if we
you in the
went to
middle of
Archer
drawing?
Creek,
Yes,
Noah
that
would
is
have
me.
died here waiting for Scout. Just then, you hear the sound of the military clearing out walkers outside.
Okay, here they come. What you wanted?
Just right. Hey, commence Operation Pied Piper. Full purge is in effect. Fire at will. Take down everything that moves.
With an order like that, the military has probably, or might still be, accidentally shooting civilians. So Noah tells Daryl to stick to the inside of the mall and hopefully run into those soldiers on the other side a lot more formally. Noah says he will tag along, which is great because he's one of the best survivors in the game. Shortly after this room, you find SUV keys, which is the only car you're gonna need from this point on. And you continue to make your way through the mall, or in my case, run like a bat out of hell because it's a mall and there's hundreds of walkers inside. I got to the exit and bolted back to the car, but alas, the military had already moved on. Daryl was not able to meet up with them to be extracted, and thus the mission ends. Probably one of the shortest missions in the game. The only place you can really head to is Polksville, a train yard where the military is routing supplies through.
You spotted? They were supposed to check in. Negative, Control. Circling the freight yard. Wait, there it is.
It's me.
Oh, damn. Yeah, there's a train. Smashed to hell. Off the rails. Looking for survivors. What about the cargo? We need those munitions for the evac.
You hear that? Trainload of munitions dumped at the freight yard. What do you think now?
Yeah, I think we're gonna make a stop.
Scout, come in. Scout, you copy?
Daddy, I'm here. Where are you? Daddy, are you okay?
You might notice whenever John Turner tuned into the radio, he was sounding very ill. We get to the train yard, and right as we're about to go find that crashed train, Scout gets cold feet and decides to stay behind. It would have been cool to have a survivor tag alongside Daryl inside an actual mission, but whatever. Daryl makes his way to a ladder and scales down it to the train tracks below.
Fell on my damn walkie. There. Good as new. Scout. Hey, Scout.
Yep, good as new. You make your way through the rail yard, and you can see that there are a ton of walkers beneath the bridge entering the yard. Most likely being drawn here due to the loud-ass noise I assume a train makes whenever it fucking derails. As you continue walking, you cannot help but notice that there is some assault rifle ammo in some spots. Hoping for the best case scenario, you speed around through some of the boxcars and occasionally taking care of the undead. Eventually, you find a clearing, and sure enough, here is where all of the military supplies are on that derailed train. But just then, this happens.
Spotted a lot one. Can you initiate rescue? Negative. Here comes the swarm. Poor bastard.
These people were so close to just dropping down and evacuating you, but the helicopter blades kicked up so much dirt and debris that it dislodged the gate keeping the swarm of walkers away under the bridge. This causes them to fly away, not willing to take the risk, and also gives you no time to pick up any of the military supplies. Right as hope is lost, you hear a voice on the radio.
Time to move, Durland.
You assume that he must have met up with Scout and took her radio and is now talking with you.
Try again, boy, but don't slow down. I'm waiting topside.
You cannot go back up that ladder that you fell down in the beginning. Merle guides you to a set of stairs that lead back up to your group. But once you make your way back up to your car, you see Scout, but no Merle.
No, I'm okay.
Alright, time to draw my friend's
No.
character.
Wait, your brother Merle? You talked to him down there?
Yeah,
Yeah, if you're watching this, yeah.
That walkie?
Character sucks.
It's broken. Must have happened when you fell. It doesn't even have batteries.
That's right. Just like in Season 2, Episode 5 of The Walking Dead show, Daryl hallucinated his brother being there with him. This one's a lot less physical, I might add, but it's still noteworthy to me. Unfortunately for Daryl, Merle in reality is still out there somewhere. He's running out of time to possibly encounter him again, as the next stop on the map is Palmetto Estates. This place still has ongoing evacuation procedures, but namely, Scout is going here to reunite with her father. But Daryl notices that John Turner sounded really sick on the radio, implying that he got bit.
Seeing your father's a bad idea. Saying goodbye on the radio. It's the best thing to do.
When I was 7, I wanted a dog in the worst way. But, my dad has always had allergies real bad. One day, he came home with a brand new puppy and a grin ear to ear. Even though my dad hates needles, he got a shot every week for 14 years and never said one word. Daryl, I'm half the person he is, and he loves me twice as much as I deserve.
You're not gonna evacuate, are you?
He's my dad. What would you do in my place?
With that being put into perspective, saying goodbye over the radio to a father like that is non-negotiable. So once we got to Palmetto Estates and Scout saw that her father was there, she says one final goodbye to Daryl. As a parting gift and to show her gratitude for how much you've helped her, she tosses you this red bandana. John Turner looks up at you from the driver's side window with a gaze of familiarity. You see blood splashed on his face and hat that were not there before, and even though we don't see a bite mark on him, it's heavily implied that at some point, most likely when he was trying to leave Pemberton, he got bit, considering how much he was coughing on the radio and how the wildfire virus works, but it's never been confirmed if he did get bit. He drives away with Scout in his passenger seat, and to this day in the Walking Dead story, they are never heard from again. Although a cool little detail is, the bandana Scout gives to Daryl can actually be seen in Daryl's back pocket in the Walking Dead show, and he carries it for a long time too, though I can't confirm he still has it when he's in France. As you enter Palmetto Estates, you can see that walkers have filled the streets, and it almost looks hopeless. You'd think evacuation attempts would have ceased here due to how many walkers there are. You begin searching the houses in the neighborhood looking for survivors, and luckily enough, you find an elderly couple, a man named Terry Harrison and his wife. Another cool detail here is that these are the parents of Andrea and Amy. I don't blame you if you forgot about those characters. Terry tells you that he actually came here looking for his daughters, but never found them. In the process, though, his wife got bit on the ankle, and she's showing signs of turning rather soon. He tells you a man by the name of Aiden is who we need to find, for he is in charge of signaling the evac choppers and is our best bet of being evacuated. He tells you that he's most likely at his house with his wife across the street. You have the option of going into a pharmacy up the way and giving Terry's wife something to ease her pain, but the wildfire virus has no cure and a bullet is a lot cheaper. I go to Aiden's house, but only his wife Jane is there. She tells you Aiden went to a mechanic shop nearby, and Daryl says a quote that I live by.
Nothing's ever easy.
You start searching around the town nearby, and eventually you spot Aiden on top of a pharmacy. That's weird. I thought Jane told us he was going to a mechanic shop.
You need to get a bag I dropped in the mechanic shop.
You've got to be Before this, he tells you that there is only one evac chopper left in this area, and time is running out. You meander your way to the mechanic shop to find and pick up his bag. I ran back up to Aiden,
I am doing good. I'm just doing some doodles right now.
Aiden preemptively
some fan art of characters, you know, that I really didn't have time for, because, you know,
I see an
busy.
evac helicopter fly past me in the sky.
And how's the Elias doing?
Aiden on the radio being taken
the
by
big
the evacuation chopper in protest.
They pulled me on, said they're leaving. So let me off.
Oh, son of a bitch.
And then you're given this weird choice that I didn't even know was a choice at the time, but I still chose something. There are a ton of walkers surrounding both Jane and Terry's house. You basically have to choose who to save of the two. I went to Jane's house, and I heard Terry dying in the distance, and that's when I realized
finished second page of my comic, then back to
commissions. I saved
Nice.
Jane. When she asks where Aiden is, you tell her what happened with the chopper, and she immediately knows where they're heading. Atlanta. More directly, the last known functioning evacuation site at Firesign Stadium. This place also acts as a refugee camp for survivors, so that's where Jane thinks they're taking Aiden. You quickly make your way to Firesign Stadium. In fact, it's so close I don't even think there's a possibility of breaking down here. But once you arrive, Daryl notices that
does the comic have big sexy monsties?
This ain't right. Something ain't right.
What? No! No! Daryl, get to the gates!
Damn it! I should have known. They got in. They got the soldiers. They got everybody.
Evacuation procedures to continue as scheduled. Please register at entry points A and B.
The evacuation speakers keep playing a pre-recorded message as if the site isn't overrun. But as you start to doubt your chances of survival, you hear the sounds of helicopters taking off in the distance. Getting to the stadium is quite the distance to close, but thankfully our arsenal is upgraded one final time. A dead soldier near the entrance to the evac site is holding an assault rifle. He also conveniently had an ammo cache right next to where he died. What ensues next is what I can only describe as run and gun, except in my case, it's a lot more gun.
Yeah, big sexy monkeys on the comic.
You know, it really makes you think how the military got overrun as you rip your way through crowds of walkers you once could never even imagine of beating. You keep progressing your way through military tents, guardrails, areas where hundreds of survivors used to be, and we're so close to being evacuated. You make your way closer to the inside of the stadium when out of nowhere, this happens. Lore-accurate Daryl Dixon can survive a fucking helicopter falling on him. Daryl somehow survives this unscathed. You get back up on your feet and run to the stadium. And once you get there, you spot an active helicopter.
We're clear! We're clear! Is she loaded? We are good to go. Control. Dr. Candace Jenner is aboard, and we are prepped to lift off. Roger and out, Control.
Wait! No!
If we were a minute sooner, we'd be sharing a seat with Candace Jenner, but we were just barely too late. Daryl desperately searches around for any signs of more helicopters as the lights to the stadium die out and it is now significantly darker. Eventually, Daryl finds a helicopter, well, technically two, and sure enough, all of our survivors are on this helicopter. But one final issue we need to resolve as he hears the helicopter having trouble fully taking off. We have to hold back the walkers for as long as we can until the pilot is able to correct the issue. As you're in the middle of your barrage, suddenly a military Humvee is seen barreling through the gates. The man driving this Humvee is none other than Merle. This time it's not a hallucination though. Daryl hops on the back of the Humvee's mounted gun and starts firing and shredding apart everything in sight. Propane tank explosions go off, walkers are flying all over the fucking place. And I can't help but grin ear to ear while I'm playing this section. After you mow down what I believe was about 100 walkers, the pilot is now clear for takeoff.
She actually has 5 fingers.
Merle takes one look ahead and says,
Hey, Junior!
Lore accurate Daryl Dixon can survive falling out of water. It's called plot armor.
Prepare for dust storm. Hang on, people.
What the hell you think you're doing, huh? You dumb son of a bitch. Jay doesn't give a shit about you no more. Could have been out of this mess forever.
Lucky for you, I got an eagle eye. It's this one. Didn't you see the bite on that whirlybird pilot? Hell, he was more than halfway turned already.
The pilot was bitten. All of the survivors we kept with us this whole time were on that chopper. And now, after everything we've gone through, more likely than not, they are dead. Realizing this, Daryl looks up at the chopper flying away. There is nothing in his power to stop this from happening. So, with no other actions to take, the best thing to do now is to join Merle in the Humvee.
You know I got your back. Yeah, no. Hell, I'm the only man you could ever count on.
Yeah. The game ends with a reused voice line from a previous level. It's a pretty fast ending that I can't help but feel like something is missing, but regardless, that was an overview of the entire game, and most of the events that transpire in it. Now that that's over, I'm sure you're wondering what my thoughts are on the game as a whole now that I've played through the whole thing in one sitting. Do I believe this game is as bad as people say it is, or will I go against the grain? Before we start picking apart the game mechanics themselves, I'm gonna talk about the story aspects this game has to offer, which, unfortunately, isn't much. There are many opportunities for this game's story to be notable or even great, but it ultimately felt underwhelming. I understand this game is technically canonical to Daryl Dixon and his first initial days of the apocalypse, but there is a reason why the only real takeaway from this game is how Daryl's father died, how he met up with Merle, and then how he got to an evacuation site. Everything in between those events is super forgettable. What you learn story-wise in this game does not feel significant enough to warrant an entire game on it. Obviously,
what is the name of my YouTube channel? It is Rage Raptor. It's like right there on the top of the screen.
Really condense the focal points into one summary, I for one would be shocked if it was longer than a page. It really does not help that everything we went through in this game.
Speaking about
is
games, I
either
found a
not
new game that
mentioned
gets
in
a
the
lot
show
lots of
or
hate by
barely
people.
mentioned ever
Is it
again.
High Guard?
With that being said, there are a few details that are touched upon. Namely, one that's pretty in your face is where Daryl gets this saying from.
Sorry, brother.
Sorry, brother.
Other details include Anna Turner's bandana and this barely, like you could blink and you miss it, this line of dialogue between Rick and Daryl
The game
in
is
the
kinda hard,
Walking
guard,
Dead
yeah.
Onslaught.
Been to many evac sites?
Once, with Merle.
Referencing the evac site at the stadium. And what do you know? Onslaught's also canonical to the Walking Dead show. But even with these little specks of info connecting the games to the show, it still misses out on mentioning a ton of different
I
things.
mean, the YouTuber in the
Daryl
background.
rescuing
Oh!
Merle from prison is never
Yeah, here,
brought
hold
up
on.
in
Give
the
me a
show. Daryl
second.
doesn't mention to Andrea or Amy that he had met their parents in Palmetto Estates. Hell, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Daryl ever mentions Jess, his uncle. And although Scout's bandana is in the show,
Alright,
directly
there we
connecting
go.
the game and the television series, Daryl never has a dialogue explaining its origins with any opportunity to mention Scout, which almost makes me think that this game is silently retconned, which is a fascinating theory, but Onslaught came out in 2020. The game was also assisted by writers of the fucking show, and people say that Onslaught is canonical to the television series. So, considering that Daryl Dixon mentions the stadium evac site from Survival Instinct in Onslaught, it must mean that it still holds up to this
There
game.
you go.
Listen, I fucking hate retcons, okay? I'm just trying to get ahead of the curve. And considering how in recent times the Daryl Dixon spin-off show has been showing a lot of flashbacks to Daryl's youth, they have a golden opportunity to really tie in Survival Instinct and the show. That is, if they want to keep it canon. Maybe in Season 4 we'll see a flashback with Jess. I don't know. But moving on. Looking back at the base game itself, it feels rushed. The whole game is primarily find Merle and get to an evac site. And I like those 2 points, but everything in the middle of those 2 events is primarily useless.
Yeah, I know,
side
Tunes,
missions
but, you know,
and
you
fetch
really
quests
shouldn't
that
advertise
all
yourself
end
as,
practically
ooh,
the
the
same
creator of
way.
this and
A
that, because,
dash
you know,
back to your car
if you
or
do that,
to an
we're gonna have
exit.
high
Now,
expectations.
I'd be willing to overlook this if the
I mean, look at
combat
Back 4
was
Blood.
good. The combat of this game
The
is
Curse
very
of Left 4 Dead.
bones. Whenever you get into a one-on-one
Look how well that
confrontation
turned out.
with a walker, 95% of the time, it's just you swinging your weapon at a maximum of 4 times, and then they fall over. As much as I love the aspect of taking a hammer and then bashing in a walker's skull with it, you can only do this exact same thing a handful of times before it gets boring or stale. And if you try to spice it up by being stealthy, which is kind of like what the game prides itself on, you're gonna find a lot of difficulty. A lot of maps in this game are so linear that stealth is hardly an option, leading you back to that exact same repetitive combat. Or just saying fuck it and using a gun, which the guns are pretty fun in this game, I will admit. The melee is just a little bit less fun. And a really simple and easy out would have been have blunt weapons and bladed weapons do different things, besides a bladed weapon just having the ability to cut off a walker's head if you swing it hard enough. The lead pipe and the machete, all in all, are essentially reskins of each other. There are not many
Does she have a
differences in
tail?
utility for the different weapons that you can get. I feel like more things can be capitalized on, yet they just never were. I've almost got this itching feeling that this game went through some last-minute changes right before it was released. Hell, after
Oh, yeah,
Will
she does have a
Dixon
tail.
dies, that little intro credit sequence, there are some scenes where I shit you not, a mouse cursor is on the screen. I was playing the game and
It's
I was like,
literally
what the
a
fuck? Is my mouse
flower.
suddenly on the screen? No, someone on the team screen recorded. Someone, okay, I have to, talk with me here. What the fuck is going on? This isn't exclusive to the PC version either. The Xbox and the PS3 version also have a fucking mouse cursor just sitting there. Hilariously, the mouse moves at one point. So someone was sitting there watching the screen recording, saw the mouse cursor and went, nah, fuck it, leave it in. Something you might not have realized because I tried with all my might to edit it out to make the game feel a little bit more serious in my coverage was the jankiness of this game. The ragdoll physics can turn a badass scene into a fucking cartoon. Perfect example is like in the finale stage. I want you to watch this clip and tell me what seems out of place. I'm sorry, did I shoot that walker with a revolver or the thunder gun? This is not an isolated incident. Oh, it gets worse. If you play this game at a frame rate above 60 per second, Daryl will climb ladders in less than a second. I guess the function of the ladder is tied to either 30 FPS or 60 FPS. So if you exceed that, it doubles the speed of the animation. The game was not that well optimized. Okay, I understand I'm playing on hardware that didn't even exist as a concept whenever this game came out, and 120 FPS gaming was still kind of niche back in 2013, but this is still something I feel like pointing out. There are other things that are just core flaws of the game itself, rather it being just an optimization problem, like how some parts of the maps are easy to break through and fall through the floor, walkers often disappear or spawn when your back is turned, the walker AI gets caught on fences, doors, or just completely has a mind of its own. What in the hell? There are a ton of janky things.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of videos on high cartoons. I know how the game is.
Feels so rushed. I noticed the release date of this game was on March 19th, 2013. 5 days after this date, spoiler alert, Merle dies in Season 3 of The Walking Dead. Now mind you, it's just a speculation. It does make it seem like this game was rushed to beat that event. And even if that is not the case, the game sure does feel like it was. When it comes to this game's mechanics, I feel like the concepts of them were much better than they were in execution. I will not lie to you. Me personally, I like the idea of the traveling system. Having both car or terrain troubles alongside it giving you the option to scavenge for more supplies.
Dude, paladins can let you ride stuff.
As realistic as a zombie apocalypse gets, I suppose. It gives the game a bit of
ride
variety
mounts.
if you choose to.
Final
On one
Fantasy.
playthrough, you might be stopped by cars, while
I
on
think
another,
Elder
you might need to be
Scrolls
cleared from the car
Online.
3 times. And the scavenge locations are quite nice for gathering up on healing items that you will
There's
need
a funny
before
FNAF
a
video
big
made
mission.
by
But I will say a
Ultimate
huge
Tom.
glaring
I do not
downside
know that
I've
channel.
noticed quite quickly during the travel segments is that the areas used for scavenging and car repairs are reused a lot. I can recall a time where I was stopped on one stretch of road 3 times, and each time the scavenging maps were the exact same location, despite being at separate and different parts of the road. And apparently, it doesn't even matter if you're going down a different road. There will still be some times where you encounter damn near the same location. No matter how many times you change that fucking skybox, it's still gonna be the same map. Also, sometimes the names don't make sense. This level's called Forest. What? It's a mechanic shop next to a trailer park. What the fuck? All I'm trying to say here is
Here,
it
let's
gets
have a
tedious
look-see.
pretty fast seeing the same exact spot over and over and over again. Obviously, my suggestion to fix this would be to have more scavenge maps so the RNG could have a wider variety to pick from. And you know what? Now that we're talking about scavenging, I don't really mind the survivor managing system either. I love the detail that certain areas in the game are more dangerous than others due to the densely populated area. However,
Yeah, I'm not gonna like
don't
watch that
know
video
how
on
little
stream.
supplies survivors actually manage to get. Oftentimes, they'll bring back embarrassingly low amounts of supplies. If you send them out to get food and they come back with 1 MRE, they'll essentially have to eat it to heal back up and be sent back out for more in the future. The mechanic is not revolutionary. I feel like more
I know
could have
they
been
made
done
that
with
game
it to
so
make it a
they
crucial
don't
aspect of the game,
made
when in
themselves a
reality
copy of Overwatch
it's more
instead.
optional. Backtracking a little
Remember
bit
when
back to the
Blizzard once
traveling
made a sequel
system,
to
I
Overwatch
thought it was a
Raptor?
cool
No, I do
concept
not
that
remember
there were
that.
different areas you could choose on the map. These alternate spots have unique weapons, survivors, and even slight alterations
What
to the
hap-
storyline. You can completely skip
I'll
that section
maybe
where
watch
Daryl
it off
hallucinates Merle on the
stream.
radio if you initially go to Archer
Goji,
Creek
cause
instead of Lafferty. Other
yeah.
things in the game that can actually change the storyline a little bit are those split decisions you are given. They're very rare to come by, but when they do happen, you can have a few different scenarios play out. Like back in the hospital, if you take the medicine instead of saving Noah and you meet up with him in the Lafferty Mall, instead of being this dorky, friendly guy willing to stick by your side, he is the complete opposite.
Look, man, Noah.
Daryl, right?
I was in a tough spot there.
Yeah. I feel for you. Only I didn't die, did I?
God knows what that doctor did to him, but he's clearly bit and not doing well. He is so pissed off at Daryl that he actually tries to get him killed by screaming and causing a ruckus, leading a bunch of walkers to your location. In the process of doing this, though, he gets ripped out of a window and eaten alive. There are things in this game you never know existed unless you played the game again. But I will not pull my punches when I say that
Blizzard
some
trying to
things
may
are
become the
just
movie studios that
not
made sequels for
accounted
other movies or
Like I
something.
mentioned earlier, I met both John Turner and later ran into his daughter, Anna Turner. Despite me actively meeting Scout's dad, it feels like that doesn't matter, because Daryl does not once touch up on the fact that all his deputies are dead. In light of hearing that John was gonna round up all of his deputies and meet Scout at Palmetto Estates.
Let's see.
No, it isn't. All of his fucking dudes are dead. Even when we see John again, he looks up at us like he recognizes us, regardless on if we met him or not. And then there's other things that mildly annoyed me, like how Daryl never once mentions to Scout that he met Noah while she was in the hospital. On top of that, if you end up getting Scout's main scavenge group to reunite, recruiting both Mia and Noah on your team, you'd think that would be a golden opportunity to get a unique cutscene or even dialogue. But no. Nothing. I think it's just weirdly paced to be as ambiguous as possible, so continuity can't get fucked up if you chose a different path. I just can't help but feel like there are a ton of missed opportunities for more unique encounters in this game. With that being said, if you'd like to see the other locations I did not venture to in this video, I've made a playthrough where I stopped at all of those spots. Just head over to Wazer the Flower, my new channel, to take a look at that. I don't really have a niche over there, I post whenever and I do whatever. But anyway, back to the gameplay aspects. Another mechanic that I enjoy in concept is the most infamous one, the grapple. Now earlier, I said, but there is one thing about this mechanic people who hate it seem to miss. That little known thing is that whenever you've dealt with one walker and a new one lunges at you, you can actually intercept this by shoving them off.
Tunes
For
Highguard,
years,
they
people complained
tried
about this
to
mechanic because they were under the
cram
assumption that
everything
each time you
into
were
one
grappled,
thing,
it
which
was a
is
death
like,
sentence. But
it
for
could
some
work,
reason,
but
nobody seems to
sometimes it
mention that
can't.
you can
This is
shove
one of those
off
types
the
of
next
things.
walker. Even though in the pop-up when it first happens, it directly says, before being grappled, you can shove a walker away and prevent it from attacking you. Sure, they absolutely could have explained this a bit more comprehensively, but come on, man, how do you miss that? Now, I know that if you're in a horde too big, despite shoving them away, it's still a horde of walkers, so you're still gonna die. And hell, you might even be re-grappled again, considering how close they are. But my point is, nobody who covered this game, at least in my research, really mentions the fact that you can shove off a grappling walker whenever they're about to lunge at you. I will agree on the point that grappling grappling gets super stale after a while. Although I don't really know exactly what to do to directly upgrade it, I think it would have been a cool idea if there was a variation for whenever Daryl is holding a gun, where you'd have to drag the barrel of the gun to the walker's head and fire. Or maybe a unique grappling animation for a crawler or one of the walkers that are sitting down pretending to be dead. Which brings me to my next point. There are a ton of times in this game where you're gonna see a walker sitting down and you're thinking, maybe he's dead. You go and check and he's still alive. Happens pretty frequently in the show, so it's kind of cool that it's being addressed in the game like this. And I'll be the first to admit, on a blind playthrough, whenever this happens, it can actually scare the fuck out of you. But the one downside that it has is, after a certain point in time, you can kind of tell which ones are going to get up. Every single walker that is faking being dead will sit in this exact pose. There's no variation to it, there's no uniqueness, and it gets to a point where you can tell from very far away that walker is not dead. Having a variation in sitting poses for the faking walkers would have fixed this problem, but an idea I propose is having walkers lay on their stomachs or their back, and once you walk over them, they grab your ankle or something. It kills two birds with one stone. Not only would it add a new variation for the grapple mechanic, because you'd have to like stab the walker grabbing your leg, but it also adds a new element of fear, because now you don't know for sure, like you have to look at the ground and make sure you meander your way around corpses, or just risk it. All I'm saying is, if I was playing this game and I walked past a dead walker and it grabbed my leg, that would genuinely startle me way more than those sudden grapples that happen in doorways. That shit was so annoying. Now on to the visuals. The graphics of this game, even in 2013, look dated. The Walking Dead Survival Instinct came out in the same year as The Last of Us, GTA 5, and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I understand that the Walking Dead licensing must have cost a pretty penny, so corners were cut, evidently by bushes sticking through buildings and cars doing silly shit. If I did not know the release date of this game, I would have assumed it came out way earlier. And when it comes to more physical aspects of the game, like the walkers or the map layout, I could go on and on about little tidbits here and there, like how there's areas where walker corpses clip through the ground. Wooded areas are usually one tree model copy-pasted 100 times.
Let's make her sit on the hoverboard.
This game almost
that's
feel
literally what she usually
Assets are copied
is in the game.
Pasted into different map locations. And possibly one of the weirdest points is that some survivors in this game have a reused face. Look at these two guys. Notice anything odd? What about these two? Are they the same person in different clothes? No, they're different survivors. They could not have made this any more damning that they cut corners in production. Upon release, they asked $50 for a rushed game that you could beat casually in a day or two. Absolutely not. If the game was $10, sure, that would be an acceptable price, but it definitely beats $200, that's for sure. Overall, the game has slight positives, but heavy negatives. Now, with that in mind, what are my final thoughts on this game? My take on the Walking Dead Survival Instinct is, it feels like a rushed game with some cool concepts, and I wholeheartedly believe that the only reason it was truly created was because the IP was super popular at the time, and a game surrounding the television series would have been a hell of a cash-in, so they went for it, and it backfired. But even with me saying that, I'm gonna keep it 100% honest with you. A touch up to the mechanics.
I'm sorry, fucking kill. God damn, why are you so mean?
Graphical overhauls, and I don't think this is a bad game. Let me put it this way. I would rather beat this game 5 more times than play the Walking Dead Destinies once. Although I think that just goes to show how shitty the Walking Dead Destinies is. Is this game good? No. Okay, just as a statement, it's not a good game. But if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I had fun playing this game.
Same people that made the game is reminds me when Naughty Dog never wanted to do Last of Us 3.
On me really liking The Walking Dead. The overall feel
yeah, because Last of Us Part 2 doesn't exist.
Special. And you know what? This game has solid replayability. A little bit of info I've been keeping from you until now is that once you beat this game and start up a new playthrough, you're given this screen here. Select a relic. Depending on the survivors that you ended up getting to the evac site, you'll unlock these little boosts that you can enable at the very start of your new playthrough. Boosts such as being able to sprint faster, have more efficient survivors, or start off with a crossbow and an assault rifle in the beginning of the game. The best part is if you unlock all of the relics, you'll get unlimited ammo. Now the game's real fun. Survival Instinct is a game I had fun playing. I understand that other people might find the game to be unplayable dog shit, and I acknowledge that from a base standpoint, this game is bad. Which is why, personally, despite my experience, I cannot recommend a game that I know was executed poorly to the average games player. I'm easily entertained, but that does not cloud my judgment. There are several more zombie games out there that are way more worth your time and money. Although, I will say that if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, or even the zombie genre in general, you can try it. I understand this game may never cross your path due to how it's trapped on old-gen consoles, in somebody's Steam library, or in an expensive Steam key. But if you have access to this game, like maybe you spot it in an old bin at a yard sale, or
The
your
developer
buddy's
should have
house,
created
you might
what
as
you
well
call
give
it,
shot. But genuinely going out and
a
buying
Titanfall
this game nowadays,
successor.
unless you're blinded by nostalgia,
Fucking big
I
ass
would
words.
recommend against it. And there we have it. That was the Walking Dead game everybody hated. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave a like down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this game as well, if you ever had the chance to play it in your youth, or maybe even more recently. Remember to check out my new side channel, Wazer the Flower. Also, happy Halloween! I wanted this video to be out in August, or at latest September, but I don't know what the fuck happened. Anyways, it's been me, Wazerbite, and I will see all of you in the next video.
Alright, next video. Yeah, I've always wanted to see this parody, so enjoy.
Well, I think it's our tradition. It comes from a particularly painful part of our history, but it's how we've been able to heal. At first, it was just a reminder of the rebellion. Each district has to pay a sacrifice, but I think it's become much more than that. I think it's something that knits us all together.
This is your third year as game maker. What defines your personal style?
I'd say murdering children.
It's okay. It was me. It's okay. Spring, it's okay. It's okay. Okay? Your name's been in there once. They're not gonna pick you. Okay? Are you sure? Yes. Okay. Okay. Try to go to sleep. Here. Okay. Can you sing? Yeah. Santa baby, slip a stocking under the tree for me.
I saw clips of it, and it's basically a parody. The entire movie, 40 minutes long, of the Hunger Games.
Why don't you sing it and try to get some sleep? You have to go. Where are you going? I just gotta go. Okay. How's it going?
Hey, Catnip.
Damn you, Gale!
How's it going?
That was the first deer I've seen in months.
Okay, I've seen at least 12 deer on the way here.
Shit, I'm bad at hunting.
How fast were you today?
Well, running about a 15-minute mile.
What are you gonna do if you caught the deer?
I don't know, probably sell it to peacekeepers.
You can't sell it to peacekeepers.
Oh, what, like you don't?
Not today, I don't.
Oh, the reaping.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, reaping today. Reaping day.
Let's go hang out in the field.
Okay. The games they're so messed up. It's just so barbaric.
I mean, people love to watch it.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. You can't deny that. You know, I'd have kids. Do you? Are you interested in kids?
No.
No?
I'm never having kids.
Yeah. No, I was
horrible.
just messing around.
I would not bring a kid into this world.
No. No, I wouldn't do that either. No.
Also, who would you even bring it into this world with? I mean,
Right, yeah.
like, who would you
No,
even...
That's such a good point.
There's, like, no suitors in this
Yeah.
whole district. They're all lame.
No.
So this might be the Hunger Games movie that was removed from Hollywood? Probably.
Is this real?
Yeah.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
You're not, really. In my favor.
What do you mean? How many times is your name in the reaping?
976? Yeah.
Damn you, Gale. Are you serious?
Well, it's just so fun. I'm like 50 away from getting an inflatable pool.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You look beautiful now.
I wish I looked like you. Oh, no, I wish I looked like you, little duck. Here. It's a Mockingjay pin. If you wear it, nothing bad will happen to you. I promise. Jinx. Okay, let's go.
Jeez, Kale, calm down, man.
Tuck in your tail, you little duck. Okay.
Mom! We're going to the reaping!
Oh my god.
It's like there's nothing
Behind her eyes. It's like she's not even here.
We gotta go, Mom!
Mom! Reaping! Going now!
It's okay. Prim, it's okay. Okay? We're gonna go up there. You're just gonna stand by me. They're gonna call the names, and we will meet up after. Okay. You're not gonna go home.
Welcome. Happy Hunger Games. Now is the time for us to pick one courageous young man and woman for the honor of representing the 12th district. As always, ladies first. Primrose Everdeen. Well, don't be shy. Come on. All right.
Prim! Candace! Prim! Candace! Prim! Candace! Prim! I volunteer as tribute!
Okay.
Prim, it's okay. No! It's okay, Prim. No, Candace! Go for it. Prim, go for it. Go for it, Prim. Okay, good luck.
Well, come up. Come on. Here. What is your name?
Katniss Everdeen.
Oh, well, I'd bet the flower on my head that you must be her sister. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. And now
All
the boys.
right. What was that weird idea?
Peter Mark.
The idea is just...
Sorry. Peter, come here, please. Thank you. Malarkey, come on. Shake hands.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, our tributes for the 74th annual Hunger Games. And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Take them away.
No tunes. It's just random doodles today. It's just a doodle stream.
Okay? You can win. You know how to hunt.
so nothing bad happens to you. Thank you. Mom, you can't tune out like you did when Dad died, okay? You have to be there.
So yeah, just drawing random characters, etc., etc., etc.
Throw food out here. Alright.
No! Prim! It's okay! I love you, Prim! Oh, ow!
Find a bow. You know how to hunt. You can win this.
Wait, yeah, animals, Gale.
It's killing people's the same thing. I've done it 1,000 times.
You've killed people before?
Just find a bow. Okay? Your hair looks really good.
Don't let them starve, Gale!
Did you know that the train's going 1,000-something miles per hour? And it doesn't even really feel like we're even moving. So we're going so fast. It's kind of crazy.
That's crazy. Wow.
Where's Hamish?
Congrats.
So how do we get sponsors? Can you help us get a brand deal? I would love to work with Prime. Lunchables would be great. Maybe Carmack.
So eager. No. You're not gonna get any sponsors.
Okay. Well, then why are you here?
How many characters have I made? I mean, I did Wave twice from Sonic.
You made me spill my bottle. Oh. Oh. Stop.
And then there's Zavik
I'm sorry, this is the first time.
twice. So basically just 2 Sonic characters.
What's the use? Okay, whatever.
So what can you tell us about these?
They did say
Hunger
Lunchables,
Games?
Daniel.
I mean, obviously, when you have a volunteer from an outlying district, that's something that can't be ignored.
Who's your barber? Who cuts that little bullshit on your face?
What you did out there is one of the bravest things I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Red Dude is my favorite from my favorite Sonic character. Same.
So you just got raped, right? You're going to the Hunger Games. Obviously, first thought, what are we gonna wear?
What, are you gonna put us in a coal miner outfit?
I'm not gonna do that. I think a girl that brave should be publicly set on fire. How do you feel about that?
What?
Pretty good. I like it.
And would you look at that District 1? The gladiators.
Ooh, they look tough.
Hunger Games. Oh my god, they look incredible. And here we have District 12. Wow. Oh my god.
Yes!
This is what it's all about.
Is perfect.
Representing your district.
So
being proud of where you came from. And that is what the Hunger Games is all about.
Welcome, tributes.
The
We
fan art
salute
is
your
crazy
courage
with Zavik.
And your sacrifice. This guy's got courage down here. I can look at him. I can tell he's got courage. This guy's gonna sacrifice his life. I can tell he's going to die. We wish you happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Oh, it's happening again! Oh! Oh! More in the second movie on this.
I know you took my knife.
I don't have your knife.
Give it back.
Here's your knife.
I'm coming back, and you best not fart on me. Bro would merely melt in my mouth.
Throw something.
But Hamish said
Oh,
that-
to heck with what Hamish said. Okay? They're looking at you like you're a snack.
Them? What? Did you stir that?
Yeah, that was me.
What are you doing?
I used to decorate the cakes at the
Sonic
bakery.
Riders.
Oh.
That's what the game is called from the one that has
It was
Jet.
right in.
Kindness, everything.
Mm.
dog shit. Poor person.
Yeah, let me just save that for later.
Thank you for your consideration.
You insubordinate little girl! Do you think you can desecrate on the sanctity of these Hunger Games? I can't believe this. Have you lost your mind?
Nice shooting, sweetheart.
Do not entertain
That was awesome. What now tell me. What did their faces look like?
I mean, I guess he was kind of shocked.
Who is the character I'm drawing? I'm drawing my friendo.
8. We can work. We can work with that. Katniss Everdeen. 11.
Yeah! Yeah! I never doubted you for a second! Oh my
You're
god!
about to win these games.
Yeah!
You are going to win.
Yes.
And Peter, you know what? Just because you're average doesn't make you average.
Hello.
Yes?
How's
She
it?
shot an arrow at your head.
No, okay, no, it was at an apple.
Near your head.
Okay.
You
Potato.
concede that?
What?
What? Potato? At an apple.
I was saying potato. It's a phrase.
Finish
Oh,
your damn
what's up, my
thoughts and
baby?
have a
How you
seat.
doing?
Me finish my thoughts.
Have a seat.
Okay. Hello.
No, Dad, what?
What is your deal?
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. I like you, Seneca. I like you a lot. Do you know why we... Why do you think we have a winner?
Because it's the Hunger Games?
Oh my god, that is... Are you fucking Captain Obvious?
No, I'm not. I'm Seneca Crane, game maker.
Why do we have a winner?
Cause...
Oh,
Can you just say what you mean?
Let me. If we wanted to intimidate the districts, why not just round up 24 kids at random and execute them all at once? Be a lot faster.
Yeah, it would be a lot faster. I don't know.
Hope.
Oh, hope. Why didn't I think of it?
Hope. It's the only thing stronger than fear.
Vector is cool too.
A lot of hope is dangerous. Spark is fine, so long as it is contained.
Why do you speak in riddles?
Glimmer, spice.
That's so true.
Marvel, ladies and gentlemen.
It's an honor to be representing my district. I'm prepared, I'm vicious, I'm a fighter.
Jesus Christ. So your mother was a bear, or became a bear, and then the curse was lifted.
I'm Foxface.
Oh, little babu. Whee!
How'd the flames feel? Must have been hot on your leg. Excuse me? Katniss. Everdeen.
What?
How did the flames feel?
I couldn't feel them, but I was scared.
Were they real flames?
No, but I'm wearing them today. If you'd like to see.
Absolutely. We'd love to see. Would we like to see? Please. Wow. Oh, goodness. Yes. Are we seeing this? Don't get dizzy. Lovely skin technique, the way your head whips around. It's incredible. And I like the way the braid matches the color of your hair. So, Katniss, if I had half of a mind and half a wig, I'd say that you volunteered for your sister. Is that correct?
I did. I told her I would try to win.
And win you shall. Maybe. She's really good at this. She's really good. You're really, really good at this. You're a star.
Thank you, Effie. You're welcome.
Peter, baker's boy. You're a good-looking guy. You have a girl back home, a suitor?
Yeah.
Well, kind of.
Like a crush. Have a
Okay.
crush.
Way with words, he does. Have that.
She's the other girl. She's the girl in my district.
One more time, say it
She's the girl in my it's Katniss.
Say again, back here.
It's the girl in my district, Katniss.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I have to kill her.
Okay.
Get over here! Whoa. What the hell is that? You say you don't want to train with me, and then you say you're in love with me? Huh? Is that what you want to play? That's how you want to play? You made me look weak, Peter. What is this?
Whoa, whoa. He made you look desirable, sweetheart. And in your case, that's gonna help.
Hey.
Hey.
You know, I meant that as a compliment.
I know.
So, do you like me too? Because you didn't really explicitly say it all.
I don't like anyone, Peter. We are going to die tomorrow. The games, the Hunger Games. Great to see you. Hey, thanks for putting me in that skin-tight leotard. My camel toe was broadcasted around Pan Am, so everyone saw my lips. It was really nice.
Feel good? How you feeling?
How am I feeling? I'm terrified.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I'd be terrified. I'd be freaking out if I was in your place.
Oh, thanks. It's the... Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for... Are all you people in the Capitol like this? You always...
I'm not allowed to bet, but if I could, I would bet on Kato. All right. Boop. Have fun out there.
Okay.
You're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. You're gonna kill it. You're... Well, just gonna grab that for you.
The kids are in the tubes.
Okay, wait. Can we change that phrase? That sounds weird. Does that not sound weird?
Kids are in the pipes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right, the kids are getting piped.
$600. $599.
Okay, no, you don't start at 600. That's in like 10 minutes.
Kids, sorry, we're starting over. 10.
You don't need to. They don't matter. You don't need to tell them we're starting over.
Sorry, we're internal.
Stop addressing the kids.
Try me! Try me!
We should form an alliance.
Let's team.
That's a lime.
I call leader, though. I call leader.
Look at this. I believe somewhat of an alliance is forming.
Yes, I'm seeing that too. Do you think they've explored each other's bodies?
Well, these are minors.
Black. All right. Okay.
What?
I don't think you should be the leader.
That was pretty good.
Leader.
Sorry.
Kind of cool.
Come on, let's run after them.
Okay, wait. Let me get this hatchet.
You know, this is kind of literally exposing how it was in the Hunger Games, where I'm like, damn.
Watch this.
Yeah, get her.
You damn klutz.
Ridiculous.
Shut up.
You're supposed to be the best of us.
Okay, what are you doing?
Okay.
Glim.
All right, I'm gonna get her.
Glim.
I'm gonna get her.
Glimmer.
Shoot. Maybe you should throw one of your swords.
That's not funny!
That was pretty good.
Please.
Guys, let's just wait her out. There's no way we're getting her all the way up there. She can't. She's gonna starve.
Oh, so much for our star-crossed lovers. Trouble in paradise, I see. Thank you. You always think I'm so funny.
Is there any other vantage point I can get her from?
Can't hide forever, 12.
She's pretty locked in there.
Well, I stopped having fun 20 minutes ago.
All right. Great fire, everyone. Let's hunker down here and hit the hay. We're gonna want a spoon for warmth. We'll spoon for warmth. You, new kid, in the middle. You, up front.
I'm on
you
front.
behind her. Marvel. All right. You're right on
Okay.
me. Okay.
Hop on.
Thing. The hive.
Oh, look, you see right here, these are tracker jackers. These are genetically modified hornets that can cause hallucinations, diarrhea, and in some cases, death, if you are stung by these. Let's hope nobody gets stung.
Of course they're gonna get stung.
I hope so, too.
You're trying to knock it down.
Oh, I guess I'm not paying attention. I'm high as fuck.
What are you doing, Candace? Cole! Get out of here! What is this? What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on. Nothing weird. Come on.
Tracker jackers can produce powerful hallucinations. This is a wig. Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Rue? How long was I out?
Like 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
We've been here a long time.
What about everyone else?
The girl from 6 and the boy from 8.
And the boy from my district?
He's okay.
Stop.
Is all that true?
No. No, it's not. What about Kato?
They put all like the food in a big pile by the center of the arena.
That sounds tempting. Okay, this is going to burn quick, so go to the next one.
Okay. We should have a signal in case one of us gets held up.
Like what?
Mockingjays. Oh, back home, we use them to send signals all the time. You try.
Okay, I can't do, I'll just.
All right, if we hear that, it means we're okay and we'll be back real soon.
Okay. Be safe.
Call me crazy, but I've been starting to think more and more we should start making music in here. That works for good. Kato Marvel, the Picayen Clyde. Kato Marvel, the Picayen Clyde. Small! Kato Marvel.
Hey, yo, my baby.
Watch our stuff!
I'm doing my stuff, and then I do.
You guys do things?
Huh?
Keep an eye on things. We
Got
said
it.
watch this stuff.
Absolutely.
All right. Wait, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, watch this stuff, please.
Huh?
Come on! Watch this stuff. Watch the stuff.
You said watch the stuff?
There's stuff right there.
Can you guys hear me?
Wait, hold on. Let's go back. What you say?
I said, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we just watch this stuff.
Okay.
Let's go! Hey, go!
Yeah.
Watch the stuff.
All right. Huh?
Can you not hear?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I gotta pee. Yeah. But this will be fun.
And we can make the horns a bit bigger. Damn it.
There's gonna be one less problem without you.
Like that.
One less problem.
Rue? Rue! Rue! It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Rue! It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Can you sing?
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack flies nipping at your nose. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow, and folks dressed up like.
So you like an underdog?
Yeah, everyone likes an underdog.
I don't. Have you been to the districts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12?
No, you.
I have.
What?
Lots of underdogs.
How did you survive?
Lots of coal, too. Things we need. So we can live the blessed life that we live.
Yeah. Okay.
If you saw them, you wouldn't root for them either.
What are you saying?
I like you.
I like you a professional amount. What is this?
Been working on it all day with this can opener.
Yo, so there actually can be two winners if they're from the same. No. Yeah, if they're from the same district.
Peter. Peter? Oh my God, you're alive!
You can see me?
Yeah.
Here. Thank you.
Let's go. Wait. Why are you limping?
I'm just like tired. If you could like kind of carry me, yeah.
Okay.
So how have you been? What have you been up to?
How are you feeling? Is your headache okay?
Headache's fine. I haven't really been able to poop since I've gotten in here, so I'm kind of constipated.
Well, we'll get you some medicine.
Katniss, I don't get many parachutes. Okay, thank you.
Attention, tributes. There's going to be a feast at the cornucopia tomorrow. Each of you really needs something. You'll provide it, but nothing bad will happen, okay?
Swing.
Your medicine.
Katniss, no.
You would do it for me, Peter.
I'm not letting you go out there. It's not worth
Whoa.
Okay. Fine, I won't.
You'll stay?
Yeah, I'm staying. I'm literally doing it right now.
Okay.
Gosh.
Yeah, just...
Rocky bed. Rocky bed.
Yep, okay.
Rocky bed. This is good. Oh, wait. You fall asleep already?
Here, hold it.
I have to shit. I have to shit. I can't shit. God, I can't shit. I need to shit.
Is this like a one per person thing, or? You know what? Actually, this week has been hell. I'm just gonna take 2. Sometimes you have to treat yourself, right?
Where's Loverboy, huh? Oh, I see. You were gonna help him, right? Aw, well that's sweet. It's too bad what happened to your little friend. What was her name? Oh, Rue? Yeah, we killed her. And now we're gonna kill you. He's right behind me, isn't he? Ah, shit, I'm caught. I'm caught. Oh.
Did you kill Rue?
No, Kato! Kato!
Did you? No! Just this once, 12. For Rue.
You making a Sonic Crossword thumbnail? No, I'm not making a Sonic Crossword thumbnail. This is just a request from Kill, apparently.
Peter. You left. I got your medicine. Here.
Do you think they're gonna bow? I feel like maybe.
Peter! 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 Those are nightlock berries! You'll be dead in a minute.
Oh my god. Okay, calm down first.
Okay,
calm
well, I
down.
wish you would have ate the berries, actually.
Oh,
Sorry for helping you.
Let's just...
Yeah, no, I'm happy you're alive.
Yeah, you too. Okay.
Okay.
You look good.
What?
She must have been following me. I didn't even hear her.
She's smart.
What are you doing?
Maybe Kato likes berries. What's so funny about that?
Well, it's a funny death. That's a funny way to die.
I guess, yeah.
It's good. You're a genius.
Okay.
Do you think if I had one, it would hurt?
Probably give you a cramp.
All right, let me...
You do one. Peter!
Are these the kid-eating dogs?
Yep.
Oh, great. Okay. How about you give them like some huge like nuts? Can you do that?
Yeah, I can make big nuts.
Can you make them have like sick action music that plays as they're running around? Hip hop music?
Oh, okay. Hip hop action music. District 7's gonna love that.
Where's the sun? Isn't it like early afternoon?
You must be in a hurry to end the games.
What was that?
The finale.
Go on. Shoot. Kill me. You'd win. One shot. That's what they want? That's what they always want, huh? Didn't know that till now. But that's the way it's always been. I get this one kill. I can do this. Bring pride to my district. Nothing matters.
guys, we're going back to one single victor, back to the classics, OG Hunger Games. I don't know what I was thinking, changing the rules on you guys. That was whack of me. Okay, I'm so sorry. But basically, that's the rule now. Okay, now get it. I said whack, and I was like, I don't know why
It's
I
fine.
said whack.
It's fine. Just shoot. Just shoot me out. I already know I'm out. It's fine. Just shoot. Just shoot me.
No.
Wait, who's that in the sandals? That's my other friend.
Do you trust me?
You doing? Katniss, no.
Why should they have their...
The sniff snorfs.
Well, okay, hang on. Let me at least even it out here. Jeez. All right. Okay.
3.
Are you doing on one after one?
I'll do 3, 2, 1.
Wait, do like a test run here. Let's
Okay.
see.
Don't. Okay. I'm not gonna eat this one. Don't eat
Okay,
this one.
This is okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
3.
Oh, my baby.
Really? That's the pace? That was nothing like the test run.
Okay.
This is TV, right?
3. 2. 1.
I was expecting it to be me in the sandals.
Ladies and gentlemen, your victors for the 74th annual Hunger Games.
Why do you want to be in the sandals, Goji?
Oh! Wow! Wow! Whew. Oh my god.
Oh my god. You made history.
Together we killed a lot of people.
Right here, 12.
Hey, you and I did this equally together.
You camouflage yourself. I actually killed people. This is gonna be really hard for me to
took
readjust
care
into
of each other equally.
society. Trying to take this fucking thing off. Jesus Christ.
I'm proud of both of us. How do we get out of here?
Oh, am I getting promoted? Is this what? It's the big promotion, the big 3-year promotion. Oh, let's get. Oh, that's. Okay, that's unsettling. That's not good. All right, and it's a Frank. Oh, come on, man. Really? The suicide berries? All right, well, I'm gonna eat frickin' all of them. So when I die, it's gonna be pretty messy.
Katniss! Yes!
Baker's boy. I can't get enough of you, Baker's boy. Oh, you already got your crown. You're funny. I like that about you.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Didn't really do anything, TBH.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, what a lovely pin.
Thanks. It's from my district.
Yes. They must be very proud of you. Oh!
Oh.
Oh! Oh!
Is he okay?
Nothing. Nothing is awry.
Come on, catnip.
That's my sister!
That's my catnip.
Catnip! Woo!
And that was that.
Claims that while... Hello there, fellow zombie slayers. My name is Stanley557, and this is a full review of Sledgehammer's first attempt at the Call of Duty Zombies formula, Advanced Warfare Zombies. Sledgehammer's iteration of the Treyarch game mode is often regarded as an underwhelming first attempt at making a zombies mode, and is one most players, myself included, forget even existed. But how does this game mode stand up today against its modern contemporaries, like Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, Cold War, Infinite Warfare, and Sledgehammer's own sequel series, World War II? Also, a special thanks to my best friend Parker. I couldn't have beat these maps without you, man. So, is AW a hidden gem wrongfully forgotten by the sands of time, or is it one that should be left to rot deep in the sea? Well, let's find out in my complete review of Advanced Warfare Zombies, the one left behind.
To be honest, I might keep this just for to include kill in the actual thumbnail. There it is.
Before we
It's
get
a
into
big
the map,
lizard.
let's go over what sets AW apart from other zombie outings. Well, the most obvious being the exosuits and the game's overall movement. After reaching the exosuit room in each respective map, the player gains an immediate melee boost, good to one-shot toward the end of round 4, and movement upgrades. Double tapping the jump button allows the player to perform an exo jump, and double tapping the run button while in the air will give the player the ability to do a dash, which isn't much faster than simply running, but trust me, you'll be doing it all the time regardless. Next up are the enhancements to secondary equipment like grenades. AW is the first game in the zombie series to introduce a useful set of explosive equipment, the contact grenades being a personal favorite of mine,
where is it?
and up until the mid-20s are both satisfying and game-saving. Another unique change is the zombie AI and spread. In nearly every iteration of zombies, the undead horde is easily exploitable, and as long as the player is able to find a loop, they can circle the zombies forever in a concise train. This was slowly changed with the
Here, my
implementation of
what you
different
ladies
zombie
look at
speeds,
while I'll look
abilities,
for it.
attacks, and enemy variation. Like just look at Chaos for example. Regardless, AW jumped the gun on this feature and created 11 different enemy types as the maps go on. So I'll just run through them all real fast. Ignoring the standard zombie, there are Chargers, EMZs, Security Dogs, Host, Exploders, Oozers, Goliaths, Spikers, Meatbags, Blinkers, and Fuse Zombies, which are types of zombies that combine two of the previous named zombie types together. The game sports a large variety of enemies, but many of them simply blend together in the higher rounds as nearly every zombie gains an exosuit, making their unique traits something you won't even notice. Finally, the most unique change to AW gameplay is the weapon upgrade system. Instead of upgrading your weaponry once or twice for a hefty price like in every other zombies iteration, AW introduces 25 different upgrades for each individual weapon, with 20 being unlocked at all times and the final 5 being available to you once you complete most of a map's main quest. Each upgrade simply refills the weapon ammo and slightly increases its damage, with attachments and extra clips being added on further into the upgrade process for a small price of $2,500 apiece. Instead of proning in front of perks for 100 points, AW gives the players 100 points for turning on various power generators around the map, and if the player happens to come across a credit terminal, they'll be rewarded with an immediate 100 points. And sometimes these machines can even glitch out and give the player upwards to 1,000 points.
Did he remove it?
Unlike Cold War, where the player can build score streaks at the appropriate table, AW features orbital supply drops like camouflage, defensive drones, sentinel guards, and just free points. These abilities randomly drop around outside areas of the map and can be selected by pressing right on the D-pad. Advanced Warfare has a lot to offer in terms of gameplay, but how do these qualities translate into the actual game? Well, let's find out.
Nope. Nope.
The first map in the Advanced Warfare Zombies storyline. Unlike the extremely fun and unique Outbreak mode in Cold War, AW's Outbreak is an overall mediocre experience that becomes bogged down in many of the unique staples that help create AW's identity, but more on that later. So, what's the story? Unlike Infinite Warfare, AW does have a consistent storyline from beginning to end. In the final mission of the Exo Survival mode, Riot, Atlas, the antagonistic corporation throughout the story, drops a Manticore bioweapon to quell the prisoners at the facility. Instead, they become zombified and begin overrunning any living survivors. Atlas and the rival company Sentinel fight together to escape the zombie horde. Those both dead and alive are brought back to an Atlas facility to be studied, bringing the zombie virus with them. And if you think I'm going to play all of Exo Survival for this footage, no. Anywho, the virus is previously released at the facility, leaving 4 survivors: the janitor Oz, IT specialist Lola Swan, security guard Jim Decker, and executive Khan. Why do only 2 of them have last names? I have no idea. After failing to be saved in the opening cutscene, the group worked together to call for an exfil and finally escape. Man, this map really does have a lot of similarities to the Outbreak mode in Cold War, huh? Alright, well, let's go over the positives first. The map's main quest has an easily understandable storyline and narrative. Utilize the black box found from the fallen warbird and call for help. Pretty simple, and for an introductory map, this is an extremely effective opening quest at settling the players into the gameplay and be completed in a little under 40 minutes. Next up are the characters. I'm talking less about their actual personalities, which I hate, and just happy to be playing as new characters with impacts on the story, compared to IW's characters and Cold War's operators. Fun fact, the last new zombie characters we've gotten to play as were the Dead of the Night crew, so there's some food for thought. The cast rounds themselves out pretty well, and for the first time in Zombies history, characters have interactions with each other at the beginning of the round, like in later installments. Next up is the box selection, which is actually pretty good and pretty balanced in some respects. But this is all simply because the game uses the old point system, so weaker weapons like the SAC-3, the AK-12, the AE-4, and the IMR still have a chance to shine, and building points is extremely satisfying in this game. Sadly, too many of the guns have a low ammo count to make them sustainable for a long time, but the upgrade system is the buffer for that issue. Another cool addition is perk decay. Before BO4, Cold War, and World War II, you'd always lose all of your perks upon downing, but in AW, your perks will begin to decay depending on how long it takes for your teammates to revive you. This not only incentivizes players to buy perks they normally wouldn't buy, like Exo Slam and Exo Soldier, but they become buffer perks that give your teammates more time to revive you so that you can keep more essential perks like Jug, or Exo Health as it's called. Oh, I should shout out the Cell 3, AW's version of the ray gun, an extremely fun energy shotgun that becomes full auto with a faster fire rate if you hold down the trigger after the first shot. And sadly, we're already out of things I genuinely like about this map. AW is a game that constantly fights against itself and the player, and this is no more prevalent than the map design, zombie movement, and AI. Outbreak is an extremely cramped map, and once you get past round 12, it becomes impossible to maneuver mid-round, causing around 80% of it to become inaccessible due to zombie speed and aggression. This works against much of the gameplay of AW, and this issue continues to pop up even in wider maps like Carrier and Descent, where choke points are a major issue with the level design, if you don't use something like the S12, contact grenades, or the Cell 3. Every single loss we encountered was rarely an issue of getting outplayed by the zombies or making a dumb decision, but rather one that resulted from attempting to revive the other because of the tight corridors, as going for a revive is extremely dangerous in this game. It makes being altruistic a big punishment, and while it shouldn't
Are you
be
drawing a
easy to revive
xenomorph?
teammate,
No,
part
I
of the fun of the
am
game is pick someone
trying
back
to
up.
draw
The
a
problem in AW
robot,
is that
a
you're more likely to
specific
survive
robot.
if you play selfishly,
Yeah, because
because
still
most
gotta
of your
learn my
teammate will end
robot
up getting
anatomy.
killed more often than not. I think something that would have helped this feature is that if a teammate goes down, all zombies are slowed for 30 seconds. And while this might make it too easy to revive people, the current option is just too difficult. Oh yeah, I should mention that for some reason, the bleed out timer in this game is 30 seconds, and unlike every other game that gives you 45 seconds, so you're not given a whole lot of time to decide if it's worth it to revive a teammate or not. So again, it plays against the altruism. Next up is the map's overall aesthetic. A big issue with AW map design is that most of the maps are defined by a small color palette, with Outbreak's palette consisting of blues, neon teals, oranges, reds, and an array of grays. While this was done to make objects like perks, the mystery box, and wall buy stand out, Treyarch and IW do a much better job utilizing a wider color palette, while still making these unique features stand out with design and flair. I mean, look at the golden back from COG. The map is filled with bright blues, purples, oranges, and reds.
What is
They still
happening?
managed to make this yellow object stand
No,
out
I
in
did
a
not mean to
unique
click
way.
on that.
Regardless, the 5 perk machines and wall buys have the terrible distinction of sporting a teal neon blue wireframe, so it's almost impossible to tell what some of the buyables are at a glance. And each of the perks have the same design with a differing emblem on top, so many of them blend together. This is mostly an issue when you're playing the maps for the first few times, as individual perk machines would make it a lot easier for first-time players. Then there's the Easter egg, which isn't too difficult, and while I love the narrative,
I
it's one
just
of
need references of
those
him,
Easter
not
eggs, like Revelations
whatever
and
it is
Challenge
I'm
Shuffle.
looking up.
Outbreak has the player perform steps like pulling the EM1 out of the box and shooting it at the mystery box to get Lilith's specific keycard.
Hello, Mantis, by the way.
I wish I could tell you.
Let's
talk about the
is
crash
the
shoot
robot
stuff. But I think
a
that's what
former
really
media or an
makes it
original
really
character?
interesting.
It is
Couple of years,
an original
and,
character
Exo-Zombies has been
that
released.
belongs to a
Everyone's playing
person.
the first map trying to solve the Easter egg, and there's like these key cards hidden all around the map. There's 4 you have to get. We've got like 3 at this
Liquid!
point, and you know the
What
last
you
one is
watching?
kind of like a mystery to everybody. Nobody
Liquid.
has
Is
any
that what
idea
the-
to do. They've tried almost everything.
Is that what
makes
his name
sense,
is?
And that's when it hit
That shouldn't be
everybody.
his name.
But Exo-Zombies is a backwards game. Now, it's pretty easy to make a backwards game. Really, all you need is two major components, and the first one is taking what makes sense, and the second one is doing the exact opposite of that. So this guy said that he
Stanley557.
Bit silly if you ask me, but
that's
luckily
all
enough,
it's
when I was
make me
8 years
ow.
old, I lived in a furnace room, so I know all about furnace
Yeah, I'm
rooms.
not a like Metal Gear
Everyone who knows
person.
anything about furnace rooms knows that the only way to get into a furnace room is to activate a trash chute, but don't go in, and then activate it again, but do go in this time. And then once you've done that, you'll end up in a furnace room. So I mean, now you just gotta
Actually, here,
find
hold
a
it.
key
Let me
card, and
see.
everybody knows that the only way to ever find anything is to just shoot the ground a billion times, and eventually you'll just find.
It's definitely a weird step, and once you're in the furnace room, you have to keep shooting the
There we
ground
go. Let's
until
do
it
a
just randomly
love
pops up. Because
pop
of
out.
course, just getting into the furnace room wasn't enough. Next up, let's tackle the weapon level up system and go over why it's the worst rendition of the feature ever. As I stated earlier, whenever you pack a punch, your weapon ammo is refilled, and the damage is also slightly increased. Now, there are a few issues with the system. 1. Weapon damage is only slightly increased. And if you aren't constantly
Okay, there we go. Now I can see all chat in like the most cluttered screen possible.
Causing your normal to go down, requiring you to buy your perks again, causing your points to dwindle, and you won't be able to buy more weapon upgrades, causing your weapons to become more ineffective, causing you to go down again, and that will cause you to buy your perks again, causing your weapons to become even more ineffective, causing you to go down, causing your weapons to be more effective, causing you to go down. Get the picture. Because of the minuscule upgrades your weaponry gets from each upgrade, it causes an immediate damage falloff if you fail to keep up in the later rounds. You're simply bound to run out of ammunition fairly quickly, as weapons don't have a lot of ammo to incentivize you to upgrade them. And this only works once your weaponry reaches Mark 20, and that completely ignores the fact that zombie health keeps scaling, so you can't even upgrade them to get more ammo back. 2. There isn't enough ammo in these guns. Until you reach Mark 10, every weapon retains the same ammo capacity it had when you first received it from the wall or from the box, so every upgrade essentially becomes a max ammo. And because your weapon ends up becoming so weak so early, you'll find yourself running out of ammo like it's Black Ops 1 all over again. But at least in Black Ops 1, the zombies aren't on crack. And 3. Point investment and diminishing returns. Now, $2,500 for a pack-a-punch weapon sounds like a good idea on paper, as it's only half the price of a regular PAP Treyarch weapon, but you'll quickly find how expensive the process becomes. By Mark III, you've already spent 7,500 points, 2,500 more than the standard PAP weapon, and to get that ammo increase at Mark 10, you need to
Like,
invest
technically
a
he does
minimum
have
of
abs. The
25,000
fuck?
points, nearly the cost of a level 2 pack-a-punch weapon from Cold War, and 10,000 more points than both a double PAP weapon from IW and a fully pack-a-punch weapon from Black Ops 4. How is that even possible? Despite the hefty price, your weapons will barely be able to keep up with enemies in the mid-20s, and at the highest upgrade, the 30s. In comparison, Black Ops 4's weapons drop off in the 30s and 40s for the same price, and even then, can be used forever because zombie health stops increasing, but not at a point where it's impossible. In IW, double PAP weapons will fall off in the 40s or 50s. And while the pack-a-punch feature was designed so that players will always have something to spend their points on, I don't believe this is the best way to go about this idea. Cold War implements a very similar design philosophy to AW by adding 2 extra pack-a-punch tiers, Tier 2 at 15,000 and Tier 3 at 30,000. And while the price of a fully packed Cold War weapon is equivalent to a Tier 20 weapon, Cold War gives the player more time to pick and choose which weapons they want to upgrade. AW forces the choice on the player, no earlier than round 10, where zombie health already begins to climb to absurd levels. And if the player chooses to ignore upgrades in favor of pulling something better from the box, they'll find themselves running out of ammo too quickly, and they'll become very ineffective against the zombie horde. And while the point system will
Literally,
make up for
you
lack
need
of
a
damage
full
on your weapons,
ref,
most
man.
of these weapons have 0 to no pierce, making them only effective at killing one zombie at a time, forcing damage over points on the player, somewhat like Black Ops 4 and Cold War, but with the old point system. Oh, something I almost forgot to mention were the infection rounds. What an annoying waste of time. For those who don't know, infection rounds spawn the unique host zombie, which can infect and kill players unless they purchase the decontamination pad. Once infected, players will have 60 seconds to reach the pad, with any subsequent host zombie hit decreasing the timer by an additional 5 seconds, and a hit from a normal zombie will decrease it by an additional 3.
Ooh,
if the
here we
player
go.
fails to reach the decontamination pad in
Load.
time, they will immediately die without a chance to be revived in the bleed out phase. This forces a choice on the player: either find a really big area and pray the zombies never hit you, or
Okay,
camp
that
around
should
the
be enough
decontamination
refs.
pad, ruining any tension the host zombie brings in the first place. It doesn't feel like the devs knew what to do with this round, as it completely kills the pace of the game, and in general is just a big waste of time. To note though, it is cool that whenever you use the pad, it kills any host zombies in the area, and gives you camouflage for 3 seconds. And if you do succumb to the infection, your character will actually become a zombie, and a pretty strong one at that. Finally, I wanted to go over little nitpicks I had with the Easter egg, those being how difficult it is to interact with these keypads when collecting Khan's keycard, how long and dumb it is to destroy the air pump for Oz's keycard, again, the fact you need to shoot the box within the EM1 to get Lilith's, and Decker's keycard in general is just plain stupid. Honestly, this whole Easter egg is just one dumb step after the other. Most of them aren't even hard, it's just the fact that the steps hardly make any sense in a realistic point of view. But I've already said this in the IW review, which is something you should definitely check out if you haven't already. Also, before we move on, I wanted to include some thoughts and opinions from my friend Parker. He not only likes AW more than I do, but was very pivotal in helping me complete these Easter eggs and get this review out.
Hey Stanley, happy to be here. Stanley's insanely proficient at reviewing stuff, so I'm mostly here to add my own thoughts and elaborate on anything he may or may not have said, but there's a slim chance that happened. I pretty much agree with Stanley's rating and points for this map to a T. It's a 4 out of 10, not because the map itself does anything inherently wrong, but the culmination of gameplay aspects and the fact this map has about as much depth as a kiddie pool ultimately make it uninteresting. And nothing about it pops and draws you in, especially its transit color scheme of red, orange, random blues, and 50 shades, and more, of gray. The map design itself is also notable for a flaw within the game's design. Maps get progressively larger areas, but always suffer from small corridors. This issue is an uphill battle because the game has to have enemies with the aggression of Black Ops 3 zombies, and are quicker than Cyberpunk's time on the PlayStation Store, to counteract the extremely enhanced movement the player has with an exosuit. This goes for any zombie with an exosuit as well, which is all of them in the later rounds. And no other game was just jumping out of hordes ever an issue, especially one that needed counters. This was obviously why the EMZs exist, but map design hurts this too. Small corridors counter exo movement, but the cocaine zombies make it so that it is impossible to cross the map mid-round. Remove these cocaine zombies, however, and you have a game mode that's too easy in my opinion. The worst part is that the EMZ attacks are AoE and proc more when you're above or dashing over a zombie, or basically when you're using your suit. I think it would have made more sense for it to be exclusively tied to their swipes, but it's an issue that plagues this map and maps to come for the rest of the game. Final thing I'd like to talk about is while hitting the EM1, I ended up getting nano swarms. I hit the box again, and right after, got the nano swarms again. Didn't know this was possible, and needless to say, a very weird possibility. I guess the moral of the story here is to have better luck than I do.
But that's how I would sum up Outbreak, a botched attempt at a new zombies mode that I couldn't possibly imagine the game makers considering fun and well designed, as too many of its core features conflict with what makes zombies, zombies, and needed way more time to be refined and polished. So, how do the rest of the DLCs fare? Well, the next map's not much of a looker either. Alright, now let's move on to the next map. Infection, the second map in the AW storyline. Now, this review is going to be conducted a bit differently compared to the
robots
other three
are
maps,
new,
so
hear
forgive
me
if
out.
this part of the review is inconsistent with its counterparts. I'm going to be reviewing this map with a completely different tone and style, as I've decided to redo this entire section of the review. While gathering footage for the Goliath, I had decided to replay the map and reanalyze it. While still a complete dumpster fire, Infection didn't deserve the harsh, rant-filled tone that I gave it earlier. And instead of dividing the map by its positives and negatives, I'm just going to go through each aspect of the map and give my thoughts on whether it's a positive or negative thought, and this review process might be the way I review maps in the future too. But that's future me's problem. The sections include story, personality and map design, gameplay, and the Easter egg quest. Now that I've gone through this little intro section, let's review the worst zombies map ever made. First, the story. In the map's intro cutscene, we learn what happens to our characters. After the events of Outbreak, the zombie horde eventually overruns them, leaving them to their fate among the dead. All while narrated by Oz. The cutscene also gives us a good idea of each character's growth and personality. Lilith learns to fire a gun for the first time. Khan is forced to remember what it's
Is
like
this
to be
going to be a
19 and
video
get
on the
his
account?
Deckard is given the chance to fight like the soldier he always wanted to be.
Of
Each of them is
her
given a moment to
affinity?
shine. Other than Oz, you get the impression that these are real
doesn't
people with real struggles and
have an
hardships,
FA
unlike how
account.
caricatured characters can be in their cutscenes.
But I will say
I
he
can't
is
wait
a
to see how these
streamer.
characters turn out.
They do literally nothing with this.
this.
After being taken down, our characters are rescued by Chars to be recovered.
I'm sure you might have seen him.
Bringing the zombie virus with them. The cutscene ends on the Burger Town logo, with the town changing into a dystopian landscape in the span of an afternoon. Other than the end of the intro cutscene, the map no longer tells the story of the town. It's just about as bare bones as Outbreak, and doesn't really leave as much to the imagination, as the cutscene introduces us to the ending of Outbreak and the subsequent downfall of the new location. The only thread of interesting ideas that we have to hold on to is the development that we're told our characters have. And while I'm not expecting an insane amount of world building and growth, it's kind of a shame. AW really promoted itself with its engaging and original methods of storytelling in its cutscenes, unlike Chars, who do a lot of their storytelling in such unorthodox ways, with in-game radios, quotes, and just flat out having players film the dots for them. But many of the AW cutscenes do seem to blend together with each other, and achieve almost nothing besides moving our characters from point A to point B. Every intro cutscene besides Outbreak doesn't advance the story all that far, and simply picks up where the map's previous cliffhanger left off. It's an arbitrary way to increase excitement for players who are waiting for the next DLC. A lot like how
How's your day been? It's been good, very chill, Purple Fox.
Had on day one, because we can all simply play Revelations now whenever we want to. The main story of Infection isn't much better, as it's all about
and how's your day been going?
And launching a rocket into space. What this rocket does, I literally couldn't tell you. After that, you're left to survive, with the Easter egg not even being the main
that is, calm down.
After rescuing a total of 25 survivors, you're granted the ending of the map, which is extremely interesting, as it's the only map in COD Zombies history to have an ulterior objective to achieve the cutscene. In the outro, our characters are seemingly swarmed on top of the Burger Town restaurant, in a scenario much like the map's intro cutscene at the Outbreak facility.
It's
this time
inward.
around, though, they are saved by Sentinel, a rival company to Atlas. A man, introduced by Oz as Lennox, holds our characters at gunpoint, explaining that one of them has to be killed. This then ends the cutscene and leaves the map on a cliffhanger. The cliffhanger being immediately resolved in Carrier's intro cutscene, where Oz is revealed to be the one to be shot, and our characters are taken aboard on an Atlas vessel. But I'll get to that with the next map.
Make me all men are perfect. Calm down or I'll put you on a leash. I'll put you in the cage.
Only to be picked up in the following map without a beat missed.
What was it called? Horny jail. That's good. I got done with school just now. I got to listen to Smile by Lady Gaga, and it gives an emotional vibe, but in a good way. Oh.
It feels extremely shallow. That would be like if I started a sentence and cut it off halfway, and then continued it weeks later. Something I had forgotten to mention, though, is that these cutscenes look absolutely amazing. During the release of Origins, players were able to data mine the outro cutscene early and expose its contents to the community. Following this event, Treyarch decided to move all outro cutscenes into executables through the in-game engine, making them much harder to data mine and leak, although audio files can still be found to this day. And I don't know if Sledgehammer just wanted to create the best looking game possible, or simply had a ton of money pumped into their game, but all of these cutscenes look a million times better than anything we've ever seen from Treyarch. Even some of their best
what am I drawing?
like
I am drawing a robot.
Or even the recent D Machina, which uses the new Modern Warfare engine. Why do they look so great? The lighting, the cinematography.
Because I need practice with robot stuff if I'm ever gonna get good at it.
I've never seen this level of polish ever put into a zombies cutscene ever again.
Because I want to draw General Grievous and, you know, actually color it and shade it properly.
Then there's level design and detail,
and
which is straight up
many other robots.
Okay, that's not true.
So far, the only robot I've ever drawn was
plays quite well, as lanes are much wider here, making
Revenant from Apex.
Zombie AI, unlike Outbreak, which crushes its players beneath close quarters. And while I mentioned later on I prefer Carrier's map design, Infection might be my favorite map layout-wise. Unlike Outbreak, Infection has plenty of open spaces to bounce around in, and whenever you need to enter a building or tight space, they typically offer plenty of mantle points and windows for quick getaways. It's perfect, and it makes it so much easier to use weaponry like assault rifles and snipers, because you're able to get such a good distance away from the zombies. The only issue with the map design are the commonly ridiculed, and rightfully so, sewers. Cramped, poorly detailed, and disgusting to look at.
This is where you belong, Mantis.
Mechanics purposely push players into the sewers, so it's understandable why it's one of the map's most infamous features, and one people aren't wrong to criticize either. If I was designing this map, I would have created the sewers as 3 large boxes with varying levels of elevation, almost like a multi-story building, or a playground of sorts. The design and color palette could be improved upon too, but it's the sewers level design that would need the biggest overhaul. I believe doing this would make it much more fun to traverse the area. The closest example I can think of are the caves from the Extinction map Awakening, but as long as you're ignoring the sewers, it's quite easy to traverse every other area of the map. Then there's the color palette, which is filled with some of the worst grays, blues, and oranges imaginable.
And then we do
The
like
map is
little
outright deceptive
watery
to look at, and is in the
eyes.
bottom of the barrel in terms of overall map aesthetics, much like Dire Eyes, a map also condemned for its ugly
Wait, what?
colorization. And while a destroyed town isn't going to look immaculate, I mean, look at Infection's rival map, Shadows of Evil, another destroyed and zombified town-based locale. Infection was filled to the brim with varying colors and personalities. It is often regarded as a top-tier map and a prime example of how to detail.
You know what? You know-
But a bad-looking map can be saved by its gameplay, right? Its map design being the primary reason why I haven't just thrown this part of the review into
It's
the
like a
garbage.
little
There's
keychain
the
right
standard
here he's holding.
The standard inclusions like perks,
Here, hold it,
cosmetics,
hold
and
it.
supply
Let me
drop
see.
return, so sadly the map doesn't offer
Layer
any new things to
cut.
play around with besides the Magnetron and the Instigator trap in the sewers. The Magnetron being the worst wonder weapon we've ever seen in zombies, and in contract, there's the Instigator trap, which is one of the coolest traps we've ever seen in zombies. I mean, come on, it's a trap that uses the alligator to jump out of the water to decimate anything in its path. Is it useful? No. But is it awesome? Heck yeah. Aside from standard equipment and weaponry, there are the new event rounds. But first, let's talk about infection rounds. Just like every other map in AEW, infection rounds do return, and pose just as much of an irritating threat as they usually do. It doesn't help that the only decontamination pad is hidden deep
Let's
in the
see.
sewers.
Little
further
keychain
perpetuating
right
my hate of
here.
that location. Infection also introduces a few new event rounds. There's the Manticore gas.
Oh,
round.
since we
The
have
Manticore
room
gas
here.
drops on one of the three main
Let's
areas of the
see.
map: Burger Town, Atlas Command, and Value Voltage. Once the gas is armed, players have a short amount of time to evacuate the area before it is completely unplayable for the duration of the round. If infected, players will simply have to decontaminate themselves before they succumb to the virus. These rounds aim to push players around the map's play space to avoid them getting too comfortable. This would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that in the
There we go, that's how it's
all
go.
three areas become consumed in gas.
I gotta
Even
get out
the
of
ever so
free
lovely
jail free
sewers
card.
as the only location
No,
with gas.
no one has that
Especially
ability
when
here.
Gas is dropped on an area you need for the Easter egg, like Burger Town. Then there are also the infamous Survivor rounds. Every couple of rounds, players are alerted by Lennox
Okay,
that a
where
survivor in the
is-
area can be rescued. Why
Okay,
he doesn't
it's
pick
this
them up
one.
himself,
Okay.
I'll never know. So, where to begin? Well, the obvious being, the survivors are useless, move very sluggishly, and force extreme punishments on the player if ignored. First, their abilities. Survivors are unable to attack zombies and defend themselves, constantly waving their arms around like they're Mr. T-Luxify doing.
I do an alternate
Then
version
there's the
because
movement.
that's not the original
Literally
vision I
moving
had.
zombie speeds. For a moment, just imagine if you not only had to protect the Keeper and Dryzendrach, but it also moved around the map in the worst way possible. Oh wait, the Keeper already does that. Then there's the punishments. If the player fails to save a survivor, the map experiences an EMP outage that lasts about a full minute. During this time, players are unable to reactivate any power generators around the map. After the full minute is over, players are then allowed to reactivate power generators and utilize facilities again. So if you go down anywhere between the survivors dying and the EMP pulse, you won't be able to buy perks again until the time limit is up. And trust me, Jug is too essential in this game to not have. And what wonderful rewards do you get for risking life and limb? Well, a free weapon upgrade, of course.
Wow!
You know, in a game where a weapon upgrade offers the smallest damage improvement in the series. Honestly,
I'm gonna
you
use
save
his
survivors
face
not
to
for the
play
rewards, but to
DMC
avoid the
4.
consequences, which isn't good game design. I swear, it's like the devs just wanted this map to be as
Technically,
painful as
this
possible.
robot
So,
is a
as an
streamer that I'm
infection
drawing,
round.
so
Well, first of
you're
all,
basically
we can
be
remove those
portraying as a
punishments,
streamer,
this task should be
so you
completely
can't
optional,
Mantis,
and the reward
sadly.
should be a free wonder weapon. Wait, no, the wonder weapon sucks. A free S12 or Cell 3, free perks, multiple weapon upgrades, extra hits, armor, a longer exometer, free camouflages, or even complete immunity from the EMZs for the upcoming 2 or 3 rounds. Something like this would
It's
be
a
extremely useful as the
screen.
difficulty of these rounds should match the rewards. It would incentivize players to want to defend
Hello,
survivors, but still
Jay.
make it optional if they don't want to.
I've been
One
good, and
glitch
how are
I ran into
you?
Is that if survivors are saved by the helicopter and all players manage to go down around this time, the game will not automatically end. Instead, players will have to fully bleed out. I don't know how it works, but it was interesting to find nonetheless. And finally, we have the Goliath rounds. Spawning around 10 and then every 9 rounds after that, unless players are forced into an infection round, the Goliath is the only Panzer-level enemy introduced into Exo Zombies. Sporting an Exo rocket launcher, full suit of armor, larger melee weapon, a riot shield, and an
need
exosuit,
it.
the Goliath
Always
is an
love seeing
enemy
your
not to be reckoned
sketches.
with.
Thank
He's
you,
a well-designed
Jay.
enemy, and has just enough extra chaos to the point where he doesn't absolutely destroy the balance of the game. He's arguably my favorite enemy in the entire series, and as long as you aren't trapped in the sewers, can be quite a lot of fun to challenge and destroy. He also drops a max ammo upon death, which is actually really useful in this game, because max ammos don't spawn in a lot. Honestly, if he was the only enemy to be able to carry the ability to EMP the player, I genuinely believe AW would be a much better game. Now, I didn't go over this in the Outbreak section because my thoughts on EMPs fit better while discussing the Goliath, because the Goliath using the EMP ability would have been a great way to make the boss fight feel unique, but because of his rarity, it would only be a problem players encounter every few rounds. That's a good use of the EMP. So let's go over why the EMZ is the one zombie type that ruins AW zombies. Your exosuit is the ultimate.
Jay,
lifeline.
you are
It gives you the
always
ability to combat
talented.
and stand toe-to-toe with its
Everyone
uniquely
has their
aggressive
own
and mobile
talent.
zombie horde. But what would happen if the game decided to temporarily remove your ability to use your exo movement and it slightly impair your vision? Surely this wouldn't be the worst gameplay decision ever, right? AMZs temporarily disable your exo movement and your exo punch, which is only good to round 4 anyway, so that part isn't much of a loss. I wouldn't be surprised if the developers also considered taking away your perks as they were tied to the exosuit in universe, but decided even that was too cruel. Regardless, your exo abilities are disabled for a total of 5 seconds. 5 very excruciating seconds. And the EMZs perform EMP blasts with a very large vertical radius, so every time you attempt to exo jump or dash over them, their blast will immediately punish you for trying to do so. And these zombies spawn quite frequently among the horde, and are the ones I'd highly recommend prioritizing as they make the gameplay a chore to do. This also applies to the Goliath, who sports the same ability, even though it would make the most sense if this ability was distinctly his own. This distinction would make the Goliath a unique threat, and his infrequency wouldn't constantly disrupt the gameplay flow. These EMP blasts make battling the horde frustrating, as the exo ability is the one thing keeping the gameplay energetic, and the EMZs constantly break up the flow of the game. I found them to make the gameplay extremely annoying and frustrating. These zombies become increasingly infuriating as the game goes on. Just like the lava in transit, there isn't a way to counter them.
He literally
so the player
has
is left to
noodle
deal with them,
hair.
which just isn't good game design at all. The best way to change this feature would be to remove it altogether. And if removing something from your game makes your overall experience considerably more enjoyable, then you're doing something wrong. But I don't believe the devs want us to come to this conclusion, so let's formulate a quick compromise. A simple fix would involve shortening the recharge timer, and a more complicated fix would involve the creation of a fuel meter, much like in Black Ops 3's Advanced Movement. This meter would give the player about 3 to 4 different exo actions, much like in the base game. But if affected by an EMZ while in the air, the player runs out of actions until they land. This would create a short delay like they intended without punishing the player too heavily. And while this doesn't exactly match the idea of an EMP as the one used by the zombies in the base game and much more realistic, I've said this before on streams and I'll say it again here. Even if it's realistic, doesn't mean it's fun. This is definitely the second biggest reason why I went down this game mode. The 5-second timer forced on the player is extremely deadly, and if you're hit by a subsequent EMZ, your timer will restart, forcing another 5 seconds on you. Alright, I think that's the end of the EMP rant. Sorry about that. The gameplay of Infection is most definitely what brings the overall experience down, and it's why I gave the map such a low rating. It's playable, but there are simply too many other maps that offer better experiences. Whatever, who cares about the gameplay? Let's talk about that main quest now. Just like the gameplay, Infection has an atrocious main quest that mainly comes down to your ability to find obscure parts and collectibles rather than your ability to actually kill zombies. Many of the steps don't particularly amount to anything and feed into what makes completing the Easter egg steps so difficult. The 5-minute zombie timer. Once we got into Black Ops 4, Treyarch decided that to make it harder to discover Easter eggs, the final zombie would bleed out after 10 minutes. Originally, it was 5. But funny enough, this idea was originally implemented into Advanced Warfare. After 5 minutes, the zombies will bleed out, and this
Kill
was extremely
just
noticeable
uploaded
going forward,
in Merge
as nearly
Storm
every single
Apocalypse.
Easter egg step in AW doesn't require you to kill zombies. Rather, the devs wanted you to solve arbitrary puzzles and do Easter egg hunts with an aggressive AI. And while these quests are called Easter egg hunts, they don't fit very well into Advanced Warfare because of the previously mentioned zombie issues. The first half of the Easter egg amounts to players building a burger for a robotic friend
Of
Bubby
course you do,
to
Goji.
consume. So
Of
if
course
that's
you
not
do.
a hallmark for how bad this egg is, then I'll quickly describe how to build the burger. First, you have to find 4 orange valves in the sewers, with only one of them spawning in at a time. And let me say, it is not easy to find them. Watch me struggle to find them over nearly 30 minutes in my live stream I did a few months back. After that, you need to exo jump and grab this golden frying pan. With the pan, you'll be able to enter the ritual room in the sewers and fill the pan with the blood of our zombie friends. After that, you'll then be required to find 4 random piles of meat scattered around different areas of the map. And let me say, it's nearly impossible to find them without a bit of luck. It's an aggravating step, and once you find all 4 pieces of meat, you can then cook the burger with the magnetron. After that, you're tasked with finding burger buns from specifically Burger Town infected employee zombies. Once you've assembled your burger, you must then disinfect it before you can finally give it to Bubby. Now, I'm slightly paraphrasing here, but I can't emphasize enough how difficult it is to complete these steps with not only the 5-minute zombie timer, the Manticore gas rounds, the Survivor rounds, the Infection rounds, and the Goliath rounds too. After that, you're then tasked with finding and charging a battery. This then allows Bubby to give you a key. Use the key to open the burger on top of the restaurant, use the instigator trap to collect a zombified hand, use the hand to collect a data pad, insert the data pad into this computer, launch the rocket, re-enter the burger, collect the updated data pad, and then finally give it to Bubby. The main quest makes absolutely no sense, and the cohesion of the steps performed do baffle the mind just a bit. I'd like to give a bounty of 1 penny if someone could clearly explain to me what launching this rocket does, because I can't explain at all what its purpose is supposed to be. The Easter egg quest is without a doubt the worst part of the map next to the map's colorization, but if we were to improve upon it, I would probably make the quest less about finding and solving puzzles and making it more about zombie killing. Remove the need to make a burger, and instead have us hack and control Bubby, but do so where we have to do something interesting like protecting a survivor while he gets us access to the back room of the restaurant, and change the blood pan step to simply killing zombies. I don't know what this would do exactly, but it would probably be better and a lot more fun than what we already have. Infection is an absolute mess of a map, but if you're not doing the main quest, you'll probably have a better time than I had. Even replaying the map to get footage was enough to make me rewrite this entire section of the script.
For my general opinion on this map, playing it and having fun is the equivalent to dribbling a bowling ball. It's possible physics-wise, but I'd like to see you try without questioning if the sheer amount of effort to do so is worth it. It has that same feeling you get when your leg brushed gum someone stuck under a school desk. What I will say about this map is that an interesting balancing factor is that this is the only map to remove chargers. This is a very unique choice because Infection's sewer is far too tight for them to exist. While Outbreak may have tight corridors and Carrier has death stairways, this map is also the only map to force you into a specific region, that region being the sewers. This feature luckily didn't return because they realized the zombies map is more enjoyable when you can actually play the map, but it's interesting to realize they removed an aggressive zombie to make the sewer slightly more bearable, especially considering the acid zombies introduction, and conclusion, was on this map. This choice doesn't seem like a major change though, because along with acid zombies, 2 other zombies and 1 boss zombie were added. The first were Spikers, a zombie that when shot at can retaliate with an AoE ranged attack, and it's pretty much an anamorph porcupine. It doesn't do much damage, but it's very annoying. Additionally, meatbags, or as I call them, die-rise zombies, were added on this map as well, and then like every other iteration of the armored zombie, that isn't a special enemy, I really liked these guys. They got cool white eyes, Atlas drip, and their armor is so insignificant and non-problematic, Stanley had no idea they even existed until he looked up enemy types. The other armored zombie, the Goliath, had potential, but ultimately sucked. Good thing they took him out like the acids... oh, wait. In conclusion, this game did what it does best, making a smart change then nullifying it by adding something else. In this case, the removal of 1 overly aggressive zombie for 4 new types. 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Overall, Infection is one of the worst zombie maps ever made, right next to IW's Beast from Beyond. From a terrible Easter egg quest to features that shouldn't have made it past the planning stages, Infection is without a doubt the bottom of the barrel of zombie maps. One that hardly passes for a good time, even with friends. Thankfully though, we'll be finally able to move on to better maps as we set sail to the Gulf of Mexico. In Carrier.
I'm gonna go play DMC4 on your TV, Rage Raptor. I cannot be stopped. Of course you've been stopped.
Carrier is the first map I bought this game to actually play. It is also one of the 3 maps that have the unique distinction of taking place on a ship, and unlike Voyage of Despair from Black Ops 4, or the USS Mount Olympus from World War II, Carrier sadly doesn't utilize the location enough, and feels more like an Atlas facility that just happens to be on a ship. But before we jump back into the negatives,
put him away for a bit.
In the outro cutscene of Infection, Sentinel operator Lennox holds our characters at gunpoint and kills Oz, claiming he was patient zero, causing great panic among the group. Lennox attempts to exfil our characters away before they are recovered by Atlas to be studied upon again. Sometime before the events of Carrier, Atlas recovers their employees and brings them to one of the facilities on a cargo ship in the middle of the ocean, bringing Oz and the subsequent zombie virus with them. So, same story, different location, I suppose. Lennox then locates and awakens the 3 remaining survivors and prepares them for the fight ahead. Carrier is without a doubt one of the best Advanced Warfare maps. Thankfully, I have a lot more positive to say about it than Outbreak and Infection. Carrier and Advanced Warfare altogether is so far the only zombie storyline to kill off one of its main characters and replace them with another. Lennox, voiced by Bruce Campbell, replaces Oz as one of the 4 playable characters, and while a little goofier than I like, he's way better than Oz, whose only character trait is his stoicism. And oh yeah, the fact that he hates the Atlas Corporation. And while the location of the map isn't utilized as much as I'd like, it features a place called the Armory, the perfect central hub, filled with weapon upgrade machine, the first box spawn, a grenade disposal machine which grants you points, a weapon disposal machine that can grant you extra points for unwanted weapons and parts for the Easter egg, teleport grenades, and contact grenades. This room is stacked, and you can genuinely spend a good amount of time and points in here without making any progress. And while in the room, let's go over the grenade disposal machine. In a Plinko-style arcade machine, player has to shoot grenades into the disposal slot. Once done, the grenades will bounce down the shaft and randomly land in specific point slots. The amount of points a player can earn from this can range from 100 to 1,000 for essentially free. At the beginning of each round, the machine will lock in place for the first grenade, always giving players at least one guaranteed chance to score some extra points. After that, it begins to rapidly move around, and the entire first step of the Easter egg is based around this thing. So to do the egg, you have to get good at it fast, and let me say, I got pretty good at it. Also, a cool fact about the Plinko machine is that if timed correctly, more than 1 grenade can be thrown into it. Like, look at the shot right here, Parker and I managed to get at the exact same time. Extremely satisfying to get right, I should say. Alright, next up is the wonder weapon, the LZ-52 Limbo, the third wonder weapon in the
Oh,
AW
woman,
and
go
unique
away.
character. The weapon boasts stellar offensive prowess and pierce capabilities. Sadly, it has a rather low ammo count to make up for this, so constant pack-a-punches are a must. The map also integrates DLC weapons into the box too, a lot like how it was done in BO3. The new added weapons include the M1 Irons, dual-wheel revolver pistols, and the Ohm, a high fire rate LMG with an underbarrel shotgun. A cool combination that we haven't seen since Black Ops 1. Alongside more weapons, the map also features the game's first and only
There's a cheeseburger at new. No! Actually, I'm hungry now though. I do want that cheeseburger. I will gladly eat that. Evil
Also,
controller
it returns with
says.
2 grenades each round instead of 1. Something I should mention here.
But no,
while
Mantis, look!
contact grenades are
I
a
caught
standard
you!
upgrade, more can be
You've been
placed off the wall
stopped!
for
What are you gonna do now?
A bit pricey, but worth it for something so incredibly destructive and swift. Unlike the entirety of Outbreak and some of Infection, Carrier was designed with the exo abilities in mind, and utilizes tons of open space and higher ceilings to allow the player to maneuver the zombie horde in more satisfying ways.
What about me?
The
Where am I
are
at? Where do you
still
want to
a
be,
major
Goji?
issue, though.
Where do you want to be?
For Infection rounds, this is also the only map in the entire collection to sport 2 decontamination pads on the main map, and why the others don't is beyond me. And, just like for Rucked and Dead of the Night, Carrier also features a double spawn system. Thankfully, the decision was made so that it sends players to the opposite spawn only if a 3rd and 4th player are added, so duo squads are able to spawn in the same room, saving some early game points. As, unlike Dead of the Night, doors opened on either side don't open the other side's corresponding door. And another issue I found is that while I wish the cargo bay doors weren't 2,000 points, they do offer the extremely open cargo bay and exosuit, so I can kind of understand it from that point of view. The map also features 2 new unique power-ups to the zombie formula.
Yeah,
Open
Mantis,
Fire,
I do not
which,
know
just like
what
the
that
similar
is, but I'm
named
gonna
AW
say,
power-up, grants
yes, I
players
feel so
extra
powerful.
points. And, unlike its AW variation, AW's Open Fire allows players to still earn points based off of bullets hit, whereas in IW, Open Fire only grants the player points based off of kills. And the other power-up being Explosive Touch, one of my personal favorite power-ups ever created. An array of grenades surround the player and instantly kill any standard zombie that comes into contact with them. This power-up is, in my opinion, the better version of Zombie Blood, as it allows players to revive teammates, perform box pulls, or buy perks, all the while the grenades pick off anything that comes the player's way, making them practically invulnerable. The downside being that it only lasts 20 seconds compared to the traditional 30 seconds most other power-ups.
No
But I still
cheeseburger
love it
for
nonetheless. It
me?
keeps the momentum of the
How
game,
dare you.
saves you ammo, and saves you time. Explosive Touch is the power-up that all new power-ups should at
That's
least
so
try to do.
cruel.
The map also features the return of the Goliath zombie, for better or worse.
Goji,
And the
didn't I
all-new
already put you
teleporter
right
zombies,
there?
Or otherwise known as Blinkers. I only mention them because, unlike Spikers, Oozers, and Meatbags introduced on Infection, the Blinkers look and feel much more unique and interact with the player in a completely different way compared to the Spikers, Oozers, and Meatbags, which all assimilate into the zombie horde and are very easily forgettable. Also, the blinkers are needed for the main quest, so that helps out their memorability a bit more too. A new feature is that every few rounds, a new objective is activated.
You
the
will
Atlas
get
Strike Team. The game will notify the
10,000
player when a bomb is being
cheeseburgers.
set. If the player
Yes.
chooses to rush over to that location, they'll encounter Atlas
I
personnel
want it
and
with,
protect
you
the
know,
mission until its destination. The Atlas
half
Strike
of
Team are
it
the
with
first and
barbecue
only
and
human AI
bacon,
enemies to ever
and
meet
then the
a
other
non-Raptor
just
villain
with
in
bacon
sporting guns, an exosuit, permanent camouflage,
and mayonnaise and
the
ketchup
Atlas Strike Team is a
and
force to be
cheese.
reckoned with. Always
Make it
follow
a double
Rule 3.
patty.
The Atlas Strike Team can also deflect grenades.
Yeah,
and
I
utilize
did.
riot suits in the
I
high
remember.
levels.
I
One, two,
remember.
and
I
one will
did it
also
for
drop a
you,
10-second
Goji.
camouflage power-up that can temporarily protect the player while they defuse the bomb. If the player fails to defuse the bomb or chooses not to, the area chosen becomes consumed in manticore gas for the remainder of the round, and mostly inaccessible.
It was
while the
last
team
art
moves on to bomb
stream.
at least 2 more areas. Thankfully, these rounds never occur alongside infection rounds, and in the event that a player manages to take out the Atlas Strike Team but fails to defuse
Hello,
the
my
bomb,
baby.
they still lose
Yo.
their specific area for the
Oh,
round.
let's
But
go.
without the team,
What?
no other bombs are
Oh
able
my
to
God,
be
you're so
set,
heavy.
giving players a bunch of different ways to approach the scenario, with varying rewards and punishments. Also, if at least 3 bombs in total are set off, a Goliath is spawned in the following round after the 3rd bomb. This is an excellent punishment. Getting to fight a difficult enemy is something a game all about action
Pub
should be
me.
doing, rather
Pub
than
me
penalizing
in
the
his
player.
hand.
It doesn't
What?
stall the momentum of the game, as the Goliath isn't much harder to carrier as he was in Infection, and doesn't arbitrarily punish the player. So major props to the AW devs for the amount of planning and various situations the Strike Team can place the player in. I just wish they spawned in a bit less, as another set of them can be spawned in the following round if the player defeats the Strike Team, but doesn't defuse the bomb, so that can be annoying. But much better than these Survivor rounds and Manticore gas rounds from Infection, as instead of locking off an entire 1/4 of the map without the player's control, Carrier offers 8 unique different sections, lessening the punishment of
I don't know how to
bomb,
do
and
fat
again,
stuff,
allowing
so
players to
I'm
pick and
just
choose
gonna
which
like
areas
imagine
they
it
care
from
about or leave
Squidward
for
when
the
he ate
remainder
like
of the
1,000
round. I should mention an
cheeseburgers.
Easter egg step that, while I might not enjoy, I just think is extremely funny. The Easter egg requires the players to collect 4 data logs and blow up a vault. To collect the second data log, the player needs to drink a bottle of vodka dropped by the weapon disposal unit, and interact with a keypad to navigate a laser maze to collect the log. I just find the concept hilarious and fun that you don't actually need to be drunk to do this step. That just allows you to see the laser maze and purposely impairs your vision and movement. And because you don't need to be drunk to actually complete this step, I wonder if it is possible to memorize the maze and collect the log. You don't have to, but the fact that you could makes me wonder. And then there's the weapon disposal unit. While it's needed a little too much for the Easter egg, it's nice that you're always guaranteed parts of the fishing rod and vodka bottle fairly easily early on. So thankfully, that isn't RNG. And now with all that out of the way, let's get into the negatives. The main one being the Easter egg. The quest in this map is difficult as heck for some of the most arbitrary reasons. The first step is quite simple. Fire a teleport grenade in a chompy secret room.
What did
and
you do
activate
to
the
me?
inside.
You made me
This is the
fat,
first
man.
step.
Just look at me.
Disposal unit. The second step requires players to fire a teleport grenade into the Plinko machine, and this begins a bit of a mini-game. While a cycling set of
You
icons
fed
above
me
the
too
teleport
many
grenade,
burgers.
representing all the different equipment in the game. By shooting a contact grenade into the slot at the right time, the teleport grenade is converted into the grenade that's in the cycle. So for example, I need to fire contact grenades while the distraction zone is spinning in the equipment cycle. So once I see the distraction zone and the grenade hole at the right time, I fire the grenade. With each successful shot, it makes the Plinko hole move faster and more erratic. And the player needs to complete 3
I don't
different
know,
sequences and fire a minimum of 3 teleport grenades, 1 for each sequence, and at least 13 different contact grenades. Difficult would be an understatement for this step. And if I didn't have Parker with me during this Easter egg, I think I would lose my mind. Once you complete the 3rd sequence, you get access to the data log and can move on to the drunk step. After the drunk step, you'll need to power this teleporter in the med bay with fragments dropped by teleport zombies. You'll need at least 20 fragments to power the machine, and before you enter, you'll need to throw a bunch of weapons into the weapon disposal machine to collect fishing rod pieces, permanently forcing at least 1 weapon slot to weapon disposal.
So we know who to blame.
Needed for a bunch of different steps throughout the Easter egg.
No, you cannot
Once you beat
steal
the
the
fishing rod,
cyborg
you
man.
get 100 points to randomly fish for a shovel. Now teleport to the island and begin digging.
Oh
until
wait,
you find
no,
a
that's the
tablet.
horny Joe
And
one.
Let me tell you, there's a lot of sand, so good luck. Oh, and if you fail to find the tablet, you have to wait till next round to try again. Oh yes, my favorite.
Here,
random
let me
RNG
make
with
an
a forced round
alternate
penalty.
version.
And just when I was liking the map too. And for the final data log, you have to go through a bunch of garbage for a lever, fish for, well, a fish, and chum the waters in the moon pool to summon a shark, steal its eye, and get the final data pad. Because of the limited amount of grenades, easy chances once per round for the Plinko, teleport fragments, island digging RNG, and just randomization included in getting the teleport fragments from the teleport zombies, your run of the Easter egg will easily take you to the 30s or even the 40s, and if you aren't careful, or, you know, you're not as cool as me, it'll be the 40s before you know it. This Easter egg is the epitome of an extremely nonsensical
actually, hold on.
progression and RNG galore.
I think I know how to do
It wouldn't
this.
be an AW map without a garbage quest lines, I suppose. Next up are the tight corridors. For all the open areas and high ceilings Carrier offers, it also has extremely tight choke points that remind me way too much of Outbreak. I really don't like these hallways, and anytime you have to take out a strike team or revive an ally, or simply go from one area of the map to another mid-round, you have to run through these specific areas, requiring players to use an S12, a Cell 3, a Limbo, M1 Irons, or a bunch of contact grenades. This leads to a criticism with the map, one that Treyarch is guilty of too. I call it the Kraken effect. Named after the Kraken wonder weapon from Voyage of Despair, is an effect I've named for map design that requires an explosive or extremely powerful weapon to get through. And in Voyage of Despair, as long as you have the Kraken, you aren't restricted to any part of the map because the weapon's raw damage allows you to weave in and out of choke points and close corridors without issue, which Voyage has a lot of. And if you use something like an AR or an SMG, you'll find yourself unable to kill enemies quickly, and because of the Dual Force spawn system, you're given very little time to extinguish your enemies quick enough.
Hello, Nitro Dragon!
This can result in a death that players might feel is unfair, and because weapons in Black Ops 4 have 0 pierce, you're required to find areas where you can train, locking off certain parts of the map because you'll be required to make plays your weapons aren't equipped to make because they usually aren't good enough to. The same effect happens in Carrier, because if you don't have one of the previously mentioned weapons, the aggressive AI will trap you in corridors before you can kill them, giving the Horde enough time to catch up. This is the fault of both the AI system, the choke point design, and finally, the poor damage increases with the weapon upgrade system. And it all compounds with the map design. So, how do we fix this? Well, getting rid of the corridors and making them wider would help. Slowing zombie AI is a good step in the right direction too. Increasing weapon damage across the board and increasing pack-a-punch upgrades is also a good idea. I just wish needing specific weaponry wasn't required to traverse the maps. Cold War does a better job of fixing these issues with the mantle system, multiple weapon upgrades, the rarity systems, and specialist abilities, so at least we're moving somewhat in the right direction ever since AW. Even World at War did a better job with this by making zombies less aggressive and easier to slip by. Another issue I have with the map is Oz, and the way he interacts with the map. While playing, you're going to randomly hear Oz as a part of the automated voice system, Angie. He'll comment on power-ups, weapons, data logs found throughout the Easter egg, and other miscellaneous quotes. One does get a laugh out of me, though.
Alright, now where was I?
My name is Angie, and I'm a total bitch of a computer who annoys the fuck out of people.
But most of them do remind me of Dr. Monty's presence in Revelations. Like, whenever you go down, he just randomly yells, "Bloody lemon!" Next up on the chopping block is our characters. Despite the story presented in the intro and outro cutscenes of each map, you'd hardly be able to find a correlation between the Easter egg and our characters. It feels like a story was haphazardly put together to create the illusion of a plot. While performing Easter egg steps, characters hardly comment on what's going on, and there isn't a logical reasoning to be doing what we're doing. At least in Outbreak, they were worried for their safety and needed help. In Carrier, our characters never make an impact on the world or explain what blowing up the vault would even do other than destroy the ship, which is hardly mentioned as a goal between the characters or Lennox. It just feels like once we arrive at the ending cutscene, the ship is magically going down and our characters just have to escape. The characters don't serve any purpose other than to say catchy one-liners or the occasional character conversation, and ignoring their personalities in the cutscenes, they could easily be replaced with the operators from Cold War. This is an issue because I don't know who these people are, what they want, what they're trying to accomplish on each map, how they come to conclusions about the predicament, questions that spawn based off Easter egg steps, and how their actions affect the greater story. For example, let's go over Primus Richthofen's story in Der Eisendrache. First, who is Richthofen? Well, he's a German doctor trying to do the right thing. What does he want and what is he trying to accomplish? He wants to set things right and rescue Ultimus Dempsey asleep in a cryopod. How does he come to conclusions about his predicament? When encountering a signal from a partner from his other life, Dr. Groff, he comes to a swift conclusion that he must use the death ray located on the map to reacquire Ultimus Dempsey's rocket. And once the cryopod has an electrical field placed around it, Richthofen comes to the conclusion that he needs to charge the summoning key with the MPD from Moon to access enough rockets to blow up the Moon, severing the electric field's connection with Groff's base on Moon. Next up are the questions that spawn
like
from
two
Easter egg.
versions.
Richthofen wonders how the Keeper previously on their side was corrupted by their actions of sending it to the Moon and interacting with the MPD, and if he's even doing the right thing, and personally not telling the group about his true intentions with Ultimus Dempsey. Finally, how do these actions affect the world around him? Well, Richtofen's actions split the already fractured timeline, he temporarily loses the trust of his teammates until he explains what must be done, reaffirming their belief in him, and the destruction of Groff and the moon base ultimately ends the fractured Group 935, a perfect example of how the Easter egg and subsequently Craig Houston, the lead director of Treyarch, utilizes his characters and considers what they're doing in the greater scheme of things. Carrier and AW don't do anything with their Easter eggs, whether it be time, resources, or life experience. AW's team was not equipped to handle the task given to them and should have focused more on creating fun
Let me
maps
see if I
and
can find
gameplay
something.
over arbitrary Easter egg quests and a bland storyline some nerd on the internet.
V1 Ultra Kill? Okay, why not?
You know what I mean. Oh,
I need
one
a
final
robot
note is that
practice.
on the loading screen, you'll find that the
V1
actual size of the map only takes up about 40% of the vessel
Ultra
available.
Kill.
And of course, they only use the space they needed, which is a good thing because the map doesn't feel bloated. But when your loading screen looks like this, it makes you wonder why they don't just shrink the map at that point. I don't believe anyone would fault the massive cargo ship for being realistically too small. Regardless, the map more or less doesn't even want you to know it's supposed to be on a ship anyway.
There's honestly very little I can add to this section of the review that Stanley hadn't already covered. While I disagree with him on the topic of Oz's narration being annoying, especially when he's reading captain logs, it's not really like I can argue why Stanley is objectively wrong on that. So without sounding too much like a parrot, I'm just going to express my thoughts on the map. Where Infection was the dribbling a bowling ball, Carrier's like using a lemon as a candle. It shouldn't work, but surprisingly it does. You're in yet another facility, sure, and the ocean looks more like a basalt delta from Minecraft without the lava.
Oh, actually, I
but the
found
map
one that actually
improves
is
by
proper
making
ref.
each room a distinct different color, easy to traverse,
Zoom in,
perfect central room,
scanning,
and a super unique wonder
scanning.
weapon. On the topic of the wonder weapon, I think I should take a moment to appreciate it. In a time where wonder weapons are no longer completely unique, but rather a derivative of a pre-existing one, the Limbo truly felt fresh and incomparable to any other wonder weapon. It had pierce, covered a large area, and there was a strategy using it considering its arc. It all culminates to the perfect terrain clear, but especially in Advanced Warfare's case. In a Treyarch game, I'd argue this liquefier
Doesn't
is
have
the
his
perfect
hands.
training
It
weapon.
needs his hands.
All zombie movement is more or less in sync in Treyarch games, so its chain reaction effect works very well. Same applies to the Wonderwaff and even crazier weapons like the Wave Gun and Thunder Gun. In Advanced Warfare, your trains look like a McDonald's toy collection, and zombies of all shapes
I will
and
make
sizes
this
are
my
running and
wallpaper.
flying
No,
at
it's
all
not
different
worthy of a
Something like
wallpaper.
this liquefier or Wonderwaff
But yeah, I
would
need a
simply
Star
be
Lover. I
less
don't like the way it
effective.
looks like.
The Limbo, with its horizontal range, accommodates for the insanity perfectly in this regard. Nothing gold can stay, however, and Advanced Warfare completely forgot they struck gold, and decided to mine for zinc when they designed the Trident, a wonder weapon that was more excessive than it was successive. It isn't even an Advanced Warfare issue either. It'd be just as useless in a Treyarch game, but I should probably save this for Descent, if Stanley doesn't cover it there, because Stanley covers every topic under the sun to begin with
Did
anyway.
they add a new layer yet for
And that
Ultra
is
Kill?
DLC
Not
for
yet.
Carrier.
I forgot what my
Much
friend
better
keeps
map than
saying.
Outbreak and Infection. And if you ignore the Easter egg, it's a map I'd highly recommend to any Zombies player that owns Advanced Warfare. Give it a shot. Definitely a good B tier map. But does it all come together in the finale? Well, let's find out.
Soon. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid spoilers because unlike my friend who spoiled me something, which I will never forgive. Do you know those mannequins that come to life? My god, I would have loved to experience that, you know, jump scare, but my friend ruined it. So like, hey, look at it. Look at it. I'm never gonna let that down, man. Like, he knows I love getting scared in horror games or whatever. And he just ruined the most amazing jump scare of all time. It makes me cry.
Descent is the climactic conclusion to the Advanced Warfare zombie storyline, and takes place at the Atlas Retreat, an underwater hotel that becomes infected with the zombie virus.
And slight
Once
animation,
Oz
that's the
is
only
killed,
update.
But what
Nice.
about the story? After the destruction of Atlas's cruiser and carrier,
Okay,
our
seriously,
characters learn
I
that
need
Oz is
to
both alive
see
and
how
undead,
I drew
becoming a zombie
him.
coordinator, much like
Because
Ultimate
I drew
Top
him
Gun
once
in the
before,
Defense
but that's
comics
just to
before
make
the
an
beginning of
avatar.
Black Ops 4.
Yeah, hold it, let me find
Formulating
him.
a strategy, our crew track him down to an Atlas hotel sitting in the middle of the ocean. Already overrun and infected, our characters decide to head there to put him down for good and learn the truth. Descent is also a much better map than AW's first two outings, much like Carrier. First, the location. Descent is the closest we've ever received to an Atlantis map, and honestly, both the location and design of the hotel are a great change of pace. The map design uses circles and curves to present its hallways and open spaces compared to the rigid.
Dude, I'm gonna be so upset if like I accidentally deleted his save file. I saved him.
Don't worry, AW devs. I know that hard work didn't go unnoticed for once. It genuinely is one of the best maps design-wise, and unlike many of the hiccups that can appear on Outbreak
Noco. Who's
Descent
this one?
doesn't have as many of those
Oh,
issues
that's just
because
the
of
base.
how wide the lanes are and the rooms are. Finally, an AW map that has open rooms where you'd never be able to realistically touch the ceiling.
Who's this?
This gives the players
No,
leeway
that's
and
the
room
rabbit
to
from
play as high as
DMC.
possible to avoid the zombie
I was
horde
planning to do it
and make
myself,
the
but I
zombie
was too
exit
lazy, so I
over them
commissioned
more
someone.
than ever. And then there's the weapon additions.
Gotta support the artist out of the way.
Added the Trident, a laser shooting wonder weapon that bounces off walls and seeks zombies on its rebounds. A really cool wonder weapon, and its interactions with the environment are fun and unique, especially with infinite ammo. Look at it go.
Come on, where is it? Oh, it's not that one. Don't tell me I accidentally deleted it.
Now, is it actually useful at killing? We'll come back to that later. And the final new weapon added to the box is the Blunderbuss, one of my top 10 personal zombie weapons of all time by sheer design and power alone.
Oh yeah, I forgot I did
Ever since
that.
I played Donkey Kong Land 2 as a kid, I've always wanted a Blunderbuss in a Call of Duty game, and Descent does not disappoint.
Surprised
It
that's
offers
still there.
Unparalleled power at the cost of an extremely long reload and single clip shot. Also, it's incompatible with infinite ammo, but it's still a weapon I'm always pulling for while hitting the boss.
Yeah,
The
I don't need that one anymore.
The XS1 Goliath suit, the exact one the Atlas Strike team uses on Carrier, equipped with homing rockets, a chain gun, and powerful.
Dude, don't tell me I fucking lost it, man.
Even inside the suit, the player can
Clean out here.
perks, turn a power
Shut up, Kill! Stop watching my stream! Go watch something else!
The only thing the players
Dude, no, don't tell me I fucking lost it, man!
The suit sports a large health bar that sadly does go down even as zombies aren't attacking the player.
Do I have to
so
start all over?
A generous one, but a timer. Once the player is ready to leave or the suit has been destroyed, it'll self-destruct, dealing no damage to the player inside. They are also not affected by host zombies during infection rounds, but lose the homing rockets if affected by an EMZ. Of course, nothing is sacred from those. Another feature I really loved were the Oz boss fights. I know some people don't like forced boss fight encounters like this, but I found them to be a good change of pace. At round 5, Oz will teleport players to the first arena and simply ramble some speech before showing players attacks like an electric floor and laser grid. These are here to give the player a good idea of what to expect for the actual boss fight. The real first boss fight comes around 13.
I had a V1 avatar prepped
Manticore gas and a crap ton of zombies.
for Ultra Kill,
Oz has got it all. The primary challenge does
but
come
it's
from
gone.
waiting, sadly, but a fight like this hasn't really been attempted since, so I have to commend the creativity. And finally, on round 20, the player confronts a mutated Oz for what is the first Call of Duty Zombies boss fight. It isn't the first Call of Duty co-op mode boss fight though, so Oz gets third place behind the Kraken from Extinction's Mayday and the Breeder from Extinction's Nightfall. The fight is pretty simple, as the player needs to turn on 4 generators around the room and lure Oz to the decontamination pad in the center to be able to render damage to him.
And we'll have one more look-see, one more
The fight is
look-see.
more or less 4 phases, and it reminds me a lot of the Keeper fight from Horizon Drock, except the fact that Oz doesn't have a whole lot of attacks aside from charging at the player and making wide swings with his arms. It's a bit too tame for a character like him, but the first fight does make up for that. My favorite part is how natural the fights occur in gameplay too. If you're doing the Easter egg, you're guaranteed to do these fights while completing various steps, which adds a nice level of cohesion to the end of the story. Also, once you beat the Oz boss fight, you're rewarded with a bunch of point drops. Wow, a boss fight with an in-game reward that isn't a max ammo? What a crazy concept! Finally, during the Easter egg, there are plenty of steps that actually require you to kill zombies with a certain restriction, which is crazy. I know. Actually killing zombies in a game all about killing zombies? Insane. Sadly, as the final DLC, Descent doesn't offer as many new features as Carrier did, but I'd say this is for the best, as Descent is a great final map utilizing everything that makes AW
actually
fun, while
fucking
completing the
lost
story.
it.
But what about those negatives?
I have
The
to
biggest issue
redraw
is
him.
the story, but we'll get to that later.
The
Some
fuck?
of the steps of this Easter egg are absolutely atrocious. For one of them, you need to power these energy tanks in the lounge with EMP zombie pulses. It's infuriating and takes forever to actually fill them up. I can't imagine game testing this and then staring back at the developers going, yeah, that was fun. The only special rounds Descent has are infection.
Wait, I didn't
and the
save.
boss fights.
I
So once
didn't
you pass round
save,
20,
so
all
maybe
you
there's
have
a
to deal with is
chance.
those pesky host zombies.
So,
Unlike
no.
Carrier, Descent only has 1 decontamination pad. 2 if you count the one in the boss fight, but whatever. It's just weird that they didn't add any more after how well 2 of them worked.
Right.
Another issue is the Easter egg length. As we've gone through each of the DLCs, the Easter eggs have taken longer and longer. Outbreak has a 40-minute quest, Infection usually takes about an hour, Carrier is 90 minutes, and Descent rounds it out with a 2-hour-long slogfest. Unlike previous maps,
may
Descent
still have
features
it.
Easter egg exclusive challenge rounds. Now, this is something I wanted on previous maps as I called out Infection and Carrier for having too many arbitrary puzzles and not enough zombie killing. Descent makes up for this with the 5 total zombie killing rounds with specific stipulations. It makes the pace of the game go by really quickly. The issue I have is that just like Carrier, the Easter egg pushes the rounds really high, and then the zombie health and poor weapon damage increases come into
Yes,
play,
I
making
did
other
accidentally
arbitrary
delete
tasks,
it.
like the jump puzzle, take forever.
Woo!
And even if the player saves a zombie in the higher rounds to do steps like the jump puzzle,
Alright,
you'll
let me
still
just
only
save
have
now.
5 minutes before he bleeds out, and the next lengthy round occurs. And
There we
even if the
go.
Easter egg
I
time is
found
short,
it.
like
It's
the
been
jump puzzle,
saved.
And Samantha says, take a precious time if not done quick enough. You have to wait a full round before trying again. It essentially got to the point where I had to train a full round of zombies inside the pool area just to make sure we can complete the jump puzzle in a timely
But yeah,
manner.
there you go, Mantis.
Thankfully, though,
Literally, that's how I drew him.
killing zombies rather than RNG-induced madness any day. This was the first Easter egg.
And there's
puzzle
a
I
little
completed
raptor
last
right there,
year,
all nice
whereas
and
Outbreak,
snuggly.
Infection, and Carrier were all completed in early March. I was definitely the least experienced while playing this map, and I found myself going down too many times, so I had to keep rebuying perks and hitting the boxer deep in weaponry. So for most of the game, I had no points to spend on weapon upgrades. And trust me, Descent is a map you don't want to be having point issues with. Then there's the Trident, a really cool wonder weapon on paper, but terrible in gameplay. Because of Descent's hotel design, it lends itself less to close quarter facilities, so the Trident's ability to rebound off walls and track zombies is least effective on Descent. The weapon would have been better suited on any other AW map, and in general, the damage of the weapon isn't wonder weapon levels at all. Even in this gameplay, it feels weaker than it should be. It would make much more sense if rebounded shots did double damage than the base shot, and it persisted
Oof,
longer if
program's
rebounded.
lagging.
Also, making the bullet velocity quicker would help too, as it's too slow to catch up to zombies, despite the fact that they're supposed to be tracking bullets. So AW is only 2 for 4 on wonder weapons, with one of them being on every map, so for unique wonder weapons, it's just 1 for 3. Then there's a story. At the end of the Easter egg, the characters enter a digitized version of Oz's mind and memories. You know what, just go with it at this point, where he reveals the truth of what's going on. But before we get into that, I want to go over how disgusting this room looks. The bright white lights, the black as oil floor, and the small area make for a pretty pathetic arena, and for some reason, the only items in the room
The
are the
GoPro
bus
cam.
from Outbreak and the weapon upgrade machine. And for the final step of the Easter egg, and for the final step of the AW storyline, the player has to fight a pretty low number of zombies while Oz sluggishly narrates about what's going on. His dialogue is incredibly boring and mundane, and for some reason, he begins to call out our characters because they consider themselves heroes, mocking Decker for being unable to make it as a soldier because he couldn't pass a drug test, Khan for being a toothless shark that Atlas left behind, and Lilith for being a crappy hacker trying to go straight. Where did all this come from? And in Infection's intro cutscene, they imply that the characters were growing stronger together as they went on this adventure, but the writers throw this little bit of character development out the window in exchange for a monologue that sounds like a 12-year-old's edgy Tumblr rant on why Matt Pat's game theory about FNAF was wrong. Also, I noticed while rewatching this part of the video that when you reload the blunderbuss in third person, your character throws away a non-existent clip. Also, Oz's character model just stares into space as he's supposed to be talking, and that while he caused the virus, the other three's DNA can be used to develop a cure that Atlas wants to exploit, and then Oz ends the game with the classiest one-liner of all time.
Demand. I fucking hate those Atlas fucks.
Truly a AAA company at work. Then there's the gameplay of this final step. The developers have an insultingly low amount of zombies bombard the player. You don't even have to fight Goliaths, just the enemy mix present on Descent, with nothing interesting added to it as the same 3-note beat played for 8 minutes on end. Listen to this track.
Where are we?
You're in my memories. Atlas monitored and stored them in this machine.
Feels so real.
Shut up and watch. Listen. Remember.
It's that loop for like 8 minutes. And for our final step, it goes out with a whimper as Oz barely explains what's going on. Lennox doesn't even get to participate in this final step at all, and overall, his character feels like waste potential. Despite the fact that they got Bruce frickin' Campbell, he hardly does or says anything interesting besides his lines in Infection's outro and Carrier's intro. Oz doesn't even have anything to say about him at all too. And then all of a sudden, the Easter egg ends and the final cutscene commences.
When the map first came out in my younger, more vulnerable years, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was by far my favorite map within Advanced Warfare, from its atmosphere, cool boss fight, and cool wonder weapon. Now looking back on it, the wonder weapon just kinda feels like a joke, especially given this map has another wonder weapon that's much more wonderful than the Trident. The atmosphere is still nice, but it is still just another facility map. Instead of a new enemy type, you just get combined zombies, which means 2 annoying enemies for the price of 1. Stoked. The Trident, as I mentioned, is lackluster, having none of the things a wonder weapon is known for other than maybe fun, but that's completely subjective. Does it get you out of corners? Does it clear hordes easily? Is it good for camping? Does it do incredible amounts of damage? If you answered yes to all these essential things a wonder weapon requires, you'd be wrong! The Chad Blunderbuss, on the other hand, clears hordes, gets you out of corners, and deals excess damage. You tell me what wonder weapon deserves the prefix Wonder. The Oz fight itself is cool for being the first technical zombie boss fight, but the minute you look past its historical importance and the fact that it's the first of its kind, it really doesn't hold up. I know it's unfair to judge Oz based on today's boss standard, where we have multi-stage, strategy-reliant, screen-nuking zombie bosses.
Okay, yeah, 5 fingers.
But I'd argue that even if you
Yay!
were the first Treyarch boss against the modern-day bosses, it's still more fun, memorable, and overall better designed than Oz is. Where his entire fight is more or less avoiding EMP bombs with a radius the size of Canada, and running around in circles activating generators. What I will say about this boss fight, though, is I enjoy the idea of building up suspense to the round 20 showdown. The intermission at round 5, mini-boss fight at 13, and his ominous countdowns really work towards setting up the Ultimate Mutant Oz fight. My issue, though, is the execution of these ideas. The round 5 intermission is cool the first time you play the map. After that, it's a boring chore. The round 13 one is better, but very easy to cheese with the Trident or Blunderbuss, the real wonder weapon. By the time you actually get to round 20, suspense is more like annoyance. I think Blood of the Dead, for all its flaws, took the concept of descent and executed it perfectly. You get an unskippable cinematic detailing Brutus as this angry, menacing threat, sicking dogs and zombies on you before you enter the actual prison.
You know, I can actually use this just for an actual thumbnail, since I'm already technically drawing him.
Hard, but the cinematics, difficulty based on player choice, and the fact you aren't locked in a small room while Brutus rambles about his collection of fun buttons, all lead to suspenseful build-up that's also engaging, knowing that wouldn't be the last time you see Brutus. With all that said, I give Descent a 5 out of 10. It's a very average map, with the most potential out of the AW repertoire, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Despite my criticisms about the story, and more on it at the end, Descent is a great finale to Advanced Warfare Zombies, if you ignore the Easter egg and the blaring lack of a satisfying story. You'll find it's a great way to cap off the season, but as it turns out, the game still has a few more tricks left up its sleeve.
Bullshit on one. This is bullshit.
The first and most immediate reward comes from beating the Descent Easter egg. Once you do, you'll have access to the double feature mode. Think of it like a hardcore playlist for multiplayer, but made for zombies. With no HUD, a black and white movie filter, points only being earned from kills, no bleed out timer, no weapon stash upon respawning, stronger zombies, and no teammate display or name tag. It's a true challenge, especially for a game as already difficult as AW. On the bright side though, the weapon upgrade machine only costs 1500 points a piece, so a good box pull or two would make the ordeal easier. It's an interesting mode and always available whenever the player starts a game of Descent. but personally not my cup of tea. Another reward only found on Descent is the trophy cabinet, with each one tracking progress on a map's main quest and additional side quests. Here are all 4 Parker's and I's trophies after beating every Easter egg. You'll notice that there are only 4 trophies but 7 slots, the other 3 being unlocked on Outbreak, Carrier, and Descent. Outbreak's alternate trophy requires players to level up their keycard level by only getting melee kills. This also unlocks the alternate ending, where the characters are saved by the exfil they called in, rather than it being destroyed by an orbital strike supply drop in the actual ending. Carrier's alternate trophy requires the player to beat the drunk laser minigame in under a minute with a fish in the player's inventory. A pretty difficult feat, I must say. Also, the fish is a red herring. Get it? Red herring. Get it? Because it's supposed to trick you because it's a red herring because red herring is supposed to trick people, and that's the trick. Finally, Descent's alternate trophy requires players to beat the mutated Oz fight in double featured. This also nets the player an additional achievement. And while each of the challenges offers an interesting and unique way to replay previous Easter egg steps, I personally don't find myself interested in attempting them because I don't like the gameplay loop of AW enough to warrant challenges that may take me game after game to beat. But they're nonetheless there anyways, and I had to bring them up. I just wish Treyarch attempted something like this in their games too. What if you got a trophy for beating Dreisendrach with only the bow and your starting pistols, or beating the iceberg step on Voyage of Despair with only 7 or less icebergs destroyed? 6 is the minimum, by the way. Or beating Firebase Z with impaired vision and slowed movement. They would be really cool challenges, and I'm surprised that Treyarch never cared to do anything like this to encourage replayability or offer alternate endings, a feature fans have been asking for since Moon. So again, props to the AW developers for inserting this into the game. So come on Treyarch, get to it. Alright, now I wanted to go over the final cutscene in its own section, because it doesn't have a whole lot to do with Descent, but rather just the storyline in general. The final cutscene takes place after the second Oz fight, and implies that in the storyline of the game, our characters complete the end of the Descent Easter egg and learn they can create a cure for the virus before they defeat Oz. The final fight itself was most likely intended to play out at the end of the Easter egg, but they probably moved it to around 20 so that more players would get a chance to actually play it. So I can understand their reasoning from that viewpoint. After doing something on the computer in front of her, literally I have no idea what Lilith is supposed to be doing here. She wants to be the one to burn Oz's body with an awesome flamethrower. We never get to use this thing in the actual game mode. Where the heck was that? And she just pulls it out behind her like, oh, got a flamethrower all of a sudden. Whatever. Come on, devs. Where'd she even get that from? I don't even think you guys know. You just wrote it in there because it would look cool. After that, Oz narrates what happens to the characters. Lennox becomes a lieutenant colonel for Sentinel, and helps Decker get admitted as a soldier into the company as well. Khan, no longer wanting to fight with guns, takes up a lawsuit against Atlas with Lilith, who becomes a hacking activist alongside him. The camera then pans down below the arena to reveal that Atlas has created thousands of clones of Oz to unleash the virus again and create more chaos, ending out on a pseudo cliffhanger ending with one of the clones opening its eyes. Other than the ending stinger, it's a pretty good way to conclude the story as it wraps up and finishes each character's storylines. Now, if you've seen the IW video, which if you haven't, you definitely should, you should know that I'm not a fan of the cliffhanger ending. Thankfully, AW doesn't leave a whole lot to the imagination, and regardless, we got World War II, so we know that AW is never coming back. And with all that said, I do have some issues with the storyline. First of all, our characters don't go through an arc whatsoever. Like I said earlier in the video, it appears that they were trying to do something with the infection intro cutscene, but any of the struggles our characters faced are never represented in gameplay or storyline cutscenes. From minute 1, our characters are able to work together, move perfectly in combat, and encounter no issues due to experience. It was said that Lilith had never fired a gun before, but she's able to utilize explosive grenades, light machine guns, and the exosuit without any training or prior experience. And of course, this is a video game. We've seen our characters in Treyarch games perform similar feats, like load alien guns and fire triple barrel cannons without dislocating their shoulders across the ocean. Ow. The difference being is that Treyarch has never pointed out issues with realism, and fully embraces the fantastical nature of the series. This is also an issue with World War II, where someone at the dev team really wanted to make sure that these games were as realistic as possible, while we're battling zombified titans and using exosuits to bounce around at unrealistic speeds. It's weird. I understand fleshing out our characters and giving them drawbacks and explaining their background, but there's 2 issues with this. 1, it feels like the writers are picking and choosing what's realistic to fit the narrative, and 2, the drawbacks given to the characters don't fit the art form of zombies at all, because there's no way to give characters unreasonable drawbacks. Every character has the same abilities and stats as they are all designed with the same coding with a different skin pack applied. It's impossible to make their struggles realistic without changing zombies into a class-based game. The reason the struggles of the premise crew are a bit more interesting is because they face issues like their inability to work together as a team, or the existential fact that we're all going to die someday no matter what. You know, interesting things. The themes and ideas conveyed in Black Ops 3 and 4 don't contradict the gameplay, and I'm going to bring up the same point I made in IW. It feels like the writers and the gameplay designers were creating two different games, and just like in IW, the writers don't do anything with what they set up. Lilith is always a natural with a gun. It doesn't express any issues she came across or any surprise to the new experiences that she's learning. Khan is getting his hands dirty once again after being an executive for so long, but he never expresses any frustration. He's a team player the minute you start playing with him, and doesn't face any difficulty firing a sophisticated weapon or using his exosuit, despite the fact that he would never be in a situation where he'd have to wear one. Deckard is enjoying killing zombies, but his euphoria never borders on insanity and is never questioned. Oz points out that Deckard is enjoying the killing a bit too much, and while not every throwaway line has to be explored, it would be more interesting if they explored these concepts through character conversations and cutscenes, much like Black Ops 3 and 4 do. Another issue is that it's weird that despite the fact that Oz is the narrator of the story, they give a surprising amount of development and connection to Lilith. Zombified Oz calls her Lily in the Carrier outro, and she's the only one who appears to feel sympathy for him and his situation.
Lilith, what are you doing?
Oz?
Are you kidding me? Oz is dead. That asshole shot him.
Oz?
I just couldn't remember any of it until now.
Shit! This place is coming apart. Take him down.
But you can't stop being what you truly are from this world. Say goodbye to Big Bad Oz.
Wait. I'll do it.
Besides, there's only room for one monster in this world.
Atlas will pay for what they did to you, Oz.
And it had better watch its fucking ass.
She's also the only one to react to Oz's death violently in the Carrier intro, and volunteers to be the one to burn his body.
They think they're the good guys.
You bastard! You shot Oz!
That thing you call Oz? He's the source of the infection. A bullet's not gonna stop him. What the fuck?
I don't really know what they were going with this, because Oz calls Lilith out for being a hacker trying to go straight at the end of the Descent Easter egg. It feels weird and it feels rude that the way that she did care about him. It feels like the relationship Lilith has with Oz is one-sided, but this plot point goes nowhere anyways, and it's weird that the writers tried adding this into the story, despite the fact that they don't do anything with it. It would have been more interesting if at the end of the Descent Easter egg, Oz doesn't call her out, but instead says that he's sorry that she ever got dragged into this. That would be a good point of sympathy, and would be a great way to wrap up their relationship. Sadly, it's all a bunch of throwaway lines that go nowhere. Overall, the story of AW feels thrown together because the development team was required to make a zombies mode because Activision told them to. Alright, and finally, let's go over some nitpicks and story inconsistencies. How does our crew even end up on Carrier? In the intro cutscene, Oz explains that Atlas wanted their prized pets back, and it ends with Sentinel ships being chased by Atlas warbirds, with the Carrier cargo ship dropping its camouflage and appearing out of thin air. Did Lennox's ships purposely fly to Carrier because they were being chased? It's an Atlas-owned ship after all, and what would happen if Atlas blew up the Sentinel ships and they flew into the ocean? Would they even be able to find others like Khan, Decker, and Lilith to make a cure and sell back to people for their own profit? The gaps between Infection and Carrier make no sense. Oh yeah, in the Carrier intro cutscene, Lennox claims that while Oz is dead, he also states that the other three have been dead too. So unlike Oz, our characters are able to come back to life when they were killed in the Infection intro cutscene. This doesn't make any sense. Why did Oz not turn into a zombie after being killed in Outbreak, but did once he was shot specifically by Lennox? Then there's Lennox in general. Is he even immune to the virus like the other three? He's absent from the end of the Descent Easter egg. Can he even be killed like the rest of them? And can he come back to life, or could he be turned to a zombie if not careful? We see how easy it is to spread the virus because the entire game takes place over the course of 48 hours. And during that time, 4 different facilities are overrun and taken over. If so, that's a swift virus. How was Lennox never infected in the first place? I get he's a capable fighter and has training taking down zombies, but you're telling me he never ran into an issue, even with the host zombies? In Descent, how do our characters know to interact with the memory device to learn the truth? Lennox clearly never communicates it, and it just randomly becomes the focal point of the egg. It doesn't even correlate to taking down Oz, for crying out loud. Infection takes place the afternoon of the 24th, and Carrier supposedly takes place a few hours later in the evening. You're telling me Sentinel rescued the characters at Burger Town, were chased by Atlas essentially all the way to the cargo ship, dropped off Oz, then dropped off the characters, Oz roams free and infects the entire ship, Lennox comes back and wakes up the characters, and they complete the Easter egg all before nightfall with the Carrier outro. There's no way these events transpire at the same time. It's because the characters arrive at Burger Town the morning of, the town gets overrun by zombies and they all wake up in the afternoon, only to complete the quest and then be rescued by Lennox. Also, how did they end up from Burger Town, which presumably takes place in Arizona, and they are suddenly chased to the middle of the ocean as if it were a second? It's definitely not south in the Gulf of Mexico, because why would a cargo ship even be there? I'm not seeing any Treyarch portals at all. Oh my god, this all makes no sense.
And Snuggly Raptor right here.
Trying. Something else that's weird is that the writers really try to push the line that Oz hates the Atlas Corporation. It's his catchphrase, and I can't tell if the writers had him say it so much in the hope that it would catch on. He constantly yells it in gameplay, and in the final moments of both the Descent Easter egg and Descent outro cutscene, he says it both times. What's that about? It's nothing iconic like Dempsey saying "Oorah" or Ultimus Richthofen just being Ultimus Richthofen. I don't get it sometimes, man. Another issue I have is that a few of the intro and outro cutscenes take place in completely unplayable areas. Where's this spot in the Infection intro cutscene? The tipped over bus implies it's in the spawn of Outbreak, but the geometry and general design don't fit the area at all. Or what about the entirety of the Carrier outro cutscene? Nowhere are these areas playable, and most of what they're doing don't even connect to the ending of the Carrier Easter egg. We place C4 on the vault near spawn, only for our characters to hit a self-destruct switch in a completely different room, to travel down corridors that don't exist, only to reach lifeboats in a room we haven't visited. And then there's a Descent intro cutscene. Where is the safe house that they are in? Where is this upper deck that they are walking across? Why are the walls in the hotel not covered in ads like they are on the regular map? Where is this room? Why didn't they gather Sentinel reinforcements before traveling to the facility? How the heck did Oz even survive the explosion? How did he reach Descent? Why isn't he infecting anyone? He's simply attacking them and getting through them. What does he want? Why is he doing what he's doing here? Why didn't the developers show us how he infects people? Why does the hotel look more like a standard Atlas facility? Was it changed to a hotel later in development?
So many questions.
Sorry if I'm sounding too nitpicky here, but there are too many inconsistencies and not enough questions answered. The game feels so mashed together and rushed to meet a deadline. But at the end of the day, that might just be what Advanced Warfare is. A rushed game mode that was created to satisfy the quota left behind by Activision executives, and it shows. Overall, Advanced Warfare is not a game mode I recommend people to play. While Carrier and Descent are fun maps, they are experiences I'd recommend to those who take this game mode less seriously than I do, as they work better if you go into it with a mentality that you've got a bowl of popcorn with you and you're going to be watching a cheesy B-movie. A flashy, contradictory B-movie. One where if you shut off your brain, you'll find yourself having a pretty good time. Sadly, that's just not how I view this game mode. And compared to IW, it is a much worse experience. It's rushed and sloppy production shows, with strokes of genius sprinkled throughout that might have just been luck on the developer's part. But, with all that said, it's plain to see why this is the game that should be left behind.
Huge thanks to Stanley for having me on for this video, and for having me join him on his AW adventure. Do I think objectively it's the worst iteration of zombies in the Call of Duty franchise? Absolutely. But even though it's a train wreck, I still think there's a lot of fun to be had in this game. Until next time, everyone.
Thank you all for watching. Despite my lengthy and mostly negative criticism, Parker and I had a blast completing these Easter eggs and just having fun in general. The mode is still a piece of hot garbage, but it's one I recommend you play with friends and expect a so bad it's good time. Just don't do the Easter eggs, they aren't good at all. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and join the Zombie Slayers. This video does take a really long time to produce, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and remember, keep on slaying.
Keep on slaying.
Hello there, fellow Zombie Slayers. My name is Stanley557. Some of my most popular videos involve long, in-depth looks at every single Call of Duty Zombies entry. But while working on that BO6 review, it got me thinking, why not challenge myself and do the opposite of that, and attempt to review every single map in just 1 minute or less? So that's what we're here to do. So if you've been following along, let's say it one last time. This is my review of every single Call of Duty Zombies map in 1 minute or less. Nocturne Toad laid the groundwork for the COD Zombies franchise, and its contributions cannot be understated. It wears its references on its sleeves. And
there we
uses
go.
atmosphere
There's
and slow
V1.
pacing to engage the audience in a whole other world, completely dissonant from its campaign and multiplayer counterparts. Watching the undead rise from the fog is iconic, and coming off of the campaign, it's the game's surprise. The map design is rather bare bones, but for an introduction, it more than gets you settled in, with death being an expectation.
The
that
big
can only be challenged for so
Robo
long.
Pro camera Pro, whatever he's called, GoPro, I think.
Noct excels at allowing the player to fill in the blanks with what is so little in the map. It's easy to see why it got the whole series started in the first place. Verrucht is chapter 2
But
of the
anyways,
COD
guys, hope you guys all enjoyed watching. This is where I'm gonna end the stream. Bye bye, everyone.
With its greatest innovation being the perk system. Coming off of
Hope you
Noct,
all enjoyed
Verrucht
watching me
challenges
draw
players
some
with greater abilities, but tighter
big
map
monsties.
design. By saving your points, you can give yourself increased health, rate of fire, reload speed, and player revive time. These abilities alone vastly improve the player experience, and with them, greater gameplay feats can be achieved, while overall giving moment-to-moment interactions a sense of progression and risk versus reward. And of course, there's its horror. Verrucht invites players to the world of the German Asylum, a nightmare realm with an atmosphere that would be ruined if I tried to describe why it works. And when put together,